can't see my stuff.
I'd like to welcome everybody to HBCU Coaches Corner. My name is Rocky Miller, co-host of HBCU Coaches Corner, along with my other host, the HBCU. You're not just a FAMU sports historian. You're an HBCU sports historian, a FAMU alumnus, Mr. Stephen Campbell. Coach Cole is in the middle of. I'll just tell you this. I won't share it with you, but Coach Cole is doing some big things right now. And when it's time for him to share it with you, I'm sure he will. Or maybe not. But he's doing some big things right now. He's going to try to get on with us. But it's one of those deals. But with no further ado, we'll go ahead and get into this. Steve, but before we get started, sir, how you doing?
Man, listen, I am doing great. I went to watch the Atlanta Hawks play the Knicks last night. It was a thrilling game. Had a really good time. Shout out to my classmate David Lee for the great tickets. Man, I always ride my bike down on the Beltline. I might tell that story tomorrow, sipping on Sunday. But got invaded by a whole family that wanted to talk my head off, man. But listen, man, it's good. And then shout out to my nephew, Armand Parker, boy, got most improved player down at the Orange and Green Spring game. Try to tell y'all, I got an eye for talent, Rocky. Got an eye for talent. Try to tell people.
Hey, now, did you have something to do with that young man arriving at FAMU?
100%. Absolutely. Boy, listen, had to pull some things, man. You know, I laid it out. I said, hey, man, we got one of the top quarterbacks want to come to FAMU. And then, some coaches will mess around. But, that's why when you got Quinn Gray, Hall of Famer, quarterback, you understand that.
It's funny how the HBCU Coaches Corner could kind of take credit for some of that. I think the interest that gentleman had in FAMU was really probably disclosed during the interview that we did with SWAC legend, Grambling legend, Bruce Eugene.
100%.
And he mentioned that he had a top quarterback that was playing for him. And he mentioned on the show that he had some interest in FAMU. And you didn't waste no time cultivating that interest, did you?
Did not waste any time. Had to cut that pipeline off. Jack State was getting too many people from the ATL. So I had to shut that pipeline down a little bit. I was like, man, hold on, man. Jack State right here running down I-20, right here just raiding Atlanta, man. I said, man, Atlanta's FAMU North, man. We gotta get our thing together.
And as we talk about that, Steve, as we're waiting on Coach Smith to get on with us, how do you think important it is for the HBCU alumnus to take a role in connecting coaches with players and in this case, coaches with coaches? How do you think the alumni should play a role in that?
Well, listen, man, this is the way it used to be. And I think one of the things that you've heard on some of the things of coaches, and I know the complaint, and I think a lot of new coaches are learning this. You know how you get a new coach and he's not part of the program, and then the former players, and most of these guys are coaches or they know football and they don't have any connection. And I think what a lot of these coaches now, you hear this all the time, have one of the former players to come back. You know, and this is from Power 5 all the way down, right? That they're understanding that you've got somebody that's going to sell your program better than anybody is an actual player or alumnus. Now, mind you, now this is the one thing, and me and Coach Gray talked about this too. Now, of course, everybody think they what's our boy that does the what's his name that does the draft? Mel Kiper.
Mel Kiper,
yeah, everybody think they Mel Kiper can evaluate talent. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. But so you will get people to say, "Hey, coach, I got a kid down here, man. He's awesome." And then you go look at his numbers and be like, "Yeah, okay, I got you."
Well, here's another situation. And not to just because I've known you a while. You've also mentioned about some kids that end up playing for other programs that had interest in FAMU, but for whatever reason they couldn't make it work. You had a kid on pretty much that went on a run at Charlton for a while that had some interest in FAMU. You know,
this kid here was all conference linebacker, 3.78. Actually wanted to come to FAMU because our business school, because like I said, his daddy played at Texas A&M, so I knew his dad. And I watched the young man, and he was perfect size. Told the guys about it. He wanted to come to FAMU, you know, whatever it is. Then he goes to Arkansas State, moves up a level, and becomes all conference there when he would have came to FAMU. So, you know, sometimes, man, you know, again, I respect all coaches and stuff like that. But I think what I'm hearing a lot of is that, again, most of these coaches now are starting to take the time. The alumni are starting to, especially like I said, former football players who definitely know much better than most people about players that want to come. So, yeah, so Rockets on the hotline. That might be our featured guest. So I know we're trying to get Coach Smith in here. You know, man, I just want to tell everybody, you know, happy Easter for everybody. I hope everybody, well, as the black folks say, happy Resurrection Day. You know what I mean? So, man, I hope everybody was able to attend church or, you know, just have the spirit and stuff like that, man. Had, like I say, great time. We were supposed to do sipping on Sundays, but Zoe had got caught up. We'll be back tomorrow because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. So, man, just doing that. But, man, we really appreciate all you all and everything. Shout out to, you know what, listen, I'm going to tell you something. Shout out to Adrian Crook. I was thinking about you, Crook, because it takes a lot of energy to put in the amount of troll hours that you put in. And I know you just do it for the love. And people really take you the wrong way. But you know what? I sat down and just really thought about you, brother. You all right with me. You know what I mean? I know you say some crazy stuff and everything, but you really do it just because you probably is a funny dude and that's the way you do it. So, you know, shout out to Crook, because you know one thing about it, he give us views. So you know what? I ain't gonna never hate on somebody that's gonna show up every time and talk his stuff, but he still show up. So Crook, I'm telling you something, man, I'm gonna give you credit, bro.
You know, the one thing that's peculiar, you know, because I wanted to get into this, talk about this for this, to point out this reason. Quinn Gray, obviously you had a relationship with Quinn Gray. Quinn Gray obviously worked it out with, you know, the player and his family, whatever. But do you think if there was a stronger connection at Grambling would took the same measures that Quinn Gray took, and Grambling probably would have had action at it?
Well, listen. So here's what we're not breaking any news. Bruce Eugene said this out his mouth about some of the disconnection that he felt with him and Grambling. And mind you, even with that being said, he still said no about it down there to Grambling. Still. And Bruce, once again, SWAC, HBCU legend, one of the greatest HBCU quarterbacks of all time, one of the greatest college quarterbacks of all time. Let's keep it a buck. You know, that has love for his school. And, you know, again, like I said, man, I'm never going to say, because everybody has their own direction. You know, I think about Coach Coley. He had his direction, how he wanted to recruit. And he said as such, you know, hey, I want to get guys out the portal. Really don't want to do any high school kids and things like that. That was his choice. And I you know, again, I'm not going to say it's right or wrong. That's, you know, he's the coach. But I always think, again, man, I'm going to keep saying this. I'd rather have a guy that wants to be somewhere than ends up somewhere. That's my thing. We got we got people that end up at our HBCUs and it never works out. So they come, well, you know, let me go ahead and take this offer. And then they don't come in there. And like I said, and I'm gonna tell you something. If you don't know, hey man, follow my boy, my nephew Amon, man. And he came in there from day one because I told him straight up, hey man, listen, if you come to FAMU, you come to learn what a FAMU football player is about. And that young man from day one has learned the history, has been a leader in practice. Again, most valuable, most improved player at the orange and green game, spring game. You know, man. So again, somebody who wanted to be at FAMU. And that's why I'm excited about what I'm seeing him doing and just all the feedback that I'm getting. And he can sling that thing because he definitely slung that thing during the spring game. So, you know, I'm super excited about that. So I just want kids that want to be at FAMUs, the Prairie Views, the Jack States, the Southerns, and things like that. I don't want kids that, oh, this is my last option. Let me just go here just because. Because, bro, you come to our schools, and if you put the work in, there's opportunities. There's NFL opportunity, which we've seen at FAMU, Jackson State, you know, putting people in league. And the biggest opportunity, man, and I'm going to keep saying this, you are not going to get a better education because in the end, as one of the coaches said, this is still about education. As your boy Calipari said, still about education. And it is in the end, especially for these kids on this level. So when you're going to these schools, man, the networking that you're going to make and the people that you're going to be down with, man, you can't beat that, man. Like I say, you go and you play football at these schools, man, all the people are going to know you. They're going to help you and stuff like that. So for all these kids that's watching this show, hey, man, that might be in the portal still, that's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I'm trying to explain.
And the interesting thing is basketball, I think, just opened up yesterday. So there are going to be several kids in the portal related to basketball. But I think what I'm trying to point out here, Steve, is that how the connection with Amal Parker was made just through HBCU connections, right?
Yes,
he has an HBCU coach. He comes on an HBCU show. Matter of fact, didn't you set up a visit and he came down to a FAMU game?
I did. Shout out to Angela Suggs to make sure that happened. Came down there. And that, well, for that was the game I think we played Jack State. It was Jack State because TC was talking to Bruce. So I'm following the Jack State game, but that didn't hold him down. And listen, hold on. Let me say something right here, man. Shout out to Sad Brass, man. Hey, bro, you know what? I was this days old until I realized what Brass Monkey meant. I forgot your last name was Brass. So Rocky, I got the Brass Monkey. Cause
hey, that's my guy. Says my guy, man.
But he made me Brass Monkey 2 weeks in a row, and I didn't even catch the double entendre. His last name is Brass, but you gotta watch that monkey thing. I had to think about that. I don't know about that, but
yeah. Using that monkey around this HBCU space.
After I sat back and thought about it, I wanted two times a raw. Like, now I don't know. We about to change that. Shout out to G Boom. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Coach, Mr. Campbell, we got a guy in.
Okay.
So if you want to do the interview, if you want to do the introduction, I'll step aside.
Hey, man, listen, I will be glad to do it. Man, we have the SWAC reigning basketball championship coach, a coach that has coached at Texas Southern, coached the Harlem Globetrotters, coached Texas A&M, coached with Clyde Drexler, played at the University of Houston, the one and only great coach who I like, and I'm going to have some great questions on, the coach of the SWAC champion Prairie View Panthers, Byron Smith. What's going on, Coach? How you doing this evening?
Doing well. How you guys doing?
Doing good, Coach. I know this is a busy time for you. We're in the middle of the transfer portal active and bubbling right about now. And I think
this morning, yes.
Yeah, so I know you've been getting it in. Well, my name is Rocky, and I want to thank you for coming on to the show. And I appreciate your effort in coming on. I know we had some technical difficulties a minute ago, but thanks to Coach Cole. Shout out to Coach Cole. Coach Cole is always in the mix. Anybody you want to connect with, Coach Cole can make it happen. And so Coach Cole was able to help get you on, man. I want to thank you, Coach Smith, for coming on. And we really were looking forward to having you. And the whole HBCU family was pleased to see what Prairie View did on the national stage. And I want to congratulate you on your NCAA tournament victory.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
But with no further, I know Mr. Campbell is itching to get in here because, matter of fact, I must admit, he insisted that we get you on. He wanted to get you on in the middle of the tournament. I was like, he got business to take care of. He got them Florida Gators he got to deal with. So, but anyway, Coach, I'll step aside and let Mr. Campbell go ahead and do his thing.
Well, Coach, I'm going to tell you something. I am super excited to have you on because I think, once again, when we have people, as they say, make history, we want to have them on this show, HBCU Coaches Corner. And, Coach, one of the things I've always respected, and again, looking at your career, you've been a person who has built Prairie View, has stayed there. Then, hey, you know, because as you see, Coach, a lot of other coaches are taking other jobs and things like that. And even with the transfer portal and NIL, but you always stuck to it. And I have this quote behind me, even though it's somewhat joking. But, Coach, I wanted to talk about something to start off with because we did just finish these. One thing that I always admired when I saw your interviews was your connection spiritually and how important it to me it seemed that having that connection with the Lord above and how that kind of drives you, how you coach, how you treat your young men. Coach, wait a minute, was you raised up, was your daddy a Baptist preacher or was your mama made sure you was in church every Sunday? Because I find it refreshing because I think not only coaching young men, you got to give them that other side too. And I think when I hear you talk, I was just really, again, like I said, I wanted to make sure we had this interview, to highlight you, but also I thought it was special because you just don't do just coach me. You know, we just play hard and, you know, the guys, you know, give us 40 minutes and stuff like that. You really talk to us, say, hey, man, this is important. So, Coach, why don't you tell us about that?
Well, my grandfather was a Baptist minister, and I watched him work hard on a laboring job, but he also served God, served the community, served his congregation of 3 churches. So I saw the impact that God had in his life and just kind of passed that down to my mother on down to me. So, but yes, to answer your second question, my mother made sure my butt was in Sunday school every Sunday and and learning God for myself. So I definitely grew up in a spiritual household, absentee father, but grandfather, grandmother, and mother made sure that I acknowledged God at a young age, baptized at 5 years old. And I'm nowhere near, I'm nothing without God, and definitely not in the position I'm in right now without his grace and mercy. So I have no problem acknowledging God publicly. I've always been that type of a man, and I will continue to be that type of a man wherever I serve, on the sidelines or wherever in society that I am. I definitely, want to honor God and give him all the praises.
Now, Coach, one of the things about it, and you've been in this for a long time, when you're an HBCU coach, especially in the SWAC, you have to play a lot of games, money games and things like that. Sometimes your schedule is not where you want to be. So, Coach, you had one of those seasons that, early, you guys were struggling and things like that, but you caught fire right before the SWAC tournament and then took that momentum into the SWAC tournament and became SWAC champion. What was it right there, Coach? Was it because people got healthy? Was it because, the kids were starting to understand what you were trying to coach? What was it that really turned your season around to really propel you?
Well, offense is always usually the bigger problems, with the team. It's always sharing the basketball, who's getting shots. You never see guys arguing over, defense or rebounds or steals. It's always, who's getting the shots. But I think it was just the guys just kind of came to realize, but they were mature about it. Great group of guys. Let me say that first and foremost from the start. Great group of guys, raised the right way. Parents did a great job of raising all the young men that we had on our team, and definitely proud to be their coach. But I think it was just a realization that, hey, this person is the guy that probably needs to have the ball in these situations. So they just accepted it. At the end, no one cared who got the credit, right? On many different nights, we had different leading scorers. And if you watch our season, the first month and a half of the season, Tarion Joseph was the 3rd or 4th leading scorer in the nation. And he finished the season coming off the bench. And he got injured. And Dante Horn emerged, Corey Wells emerged. So we had some experienced guys, 5-6 year guys on our roster. And they just accepted that, hey, this is what we need to do to win. And we got hot at the right time. timing in life is everything. A lot like Alabama State the year before. They got hot at the right time. They made a push, won the conference tournament, got to the NCAA tournament. We did the same thing this year.
Coach, I got an interesting question for your program. And just doing the research as you guys won the SWAC tournament, I did. I've only been covering the SWAC for the last 5 years, and so I did my research to find out who you are and what your program is. One thing I noticed, Coach, you had these guys rolling prior to the pandemic. Like you guys had become a perennial power in the SWAC, and then you guys had a setback coming back from the pandemic. Can you just explain how the pandemic impacted your program and your process? Because you really had them on the verge of doing something that a HBCU hadn't done in a long time when you talk about record-wise and the level of competition.
I'm glad you acknowledged that, Rocky, because everybody else seemed to have forgotten how good of a program we were. And I'll be honest, not only was it COVID, we had we restructured our academic standards at Prairie View, and for a while, the standards were pretty high. So we had a hard time getting kids in school, and that's not a knock because obviously it's an institution for higher learning, so academics are important. But we basically had to go to the grad transfer model, and so we pretty much had to flip our roster like 3 years in a row, along with the pandemic, and then along with this thing that has changed the landscape of college athletics called NIL, right? Now it's shifted to rev share, right? So we had a hard time adjusting to all three of those situations. The pandemic was tough. We obviously we didn't know when we were going to play games. We had to cancel and postpone a bunch of games, and we really had, in my opinion, the model that we used for COVID got a bit outdated pretty quick. And, initially I think it was 14 days that you had to quarantine, then it was 10 days, then it was 5 days, and then it was, how many players were tested. So, but we never changed. Prairie View still was on a 14-day quarantine when one player would test positive. So it was hard to put together a complete season. Then the academic challenges, right? It was hard to get kids in school. It's very hard to get transfers in school at that time. So again, we had to pretty much go with the grad transfer model. And then 3 years in a row, we had to flip our roster. And then obviously with the financial impact of it, we were just a little bit slow coming to the NIL or the rev share. So those three things greatly impacted our program, and it set us back quite a bit. And obviously, like, as you said, with the last few weeks of the regular season, and the good Lord just gave us a tremendous blessing, and things kind of fell in the right place for us, and we just had a great run. So it finished up in the right way for sure.
I thought you guys had a really good, I guess, I don't know what you call it, out of conference schedule. I thought you had some good showings. I'll say that, Coach. And I was really expecting big things as my daughter is a senior at Prairie View, so I was following the team closely. But it always seemed to, once you guys got it rolling during the regular season, you guys would suffer an injury, a setback, or something. Just would always, or you guys would get clipped by a close game here or there.
Right.
And so it seems like, to me, that as you guys got in now before the tournament, just before the tournament, you got back to full strength, and then you guys got back on, and when you guys showed up in Atlanta, it was all business from the first tip, and you guys were able to, from the time you guys stepped on the court until the championship, you guys were no doubt the best team on the court. What are some things that you changed or added during the season that allowed y'all to peak at the right time?
Well, defensively is where things really shifted. We started doing a lot of switching, 1 through 5, sometimes 1 through 4. We inserted Corey Dunning into the starting lineup, and he's as athletic laterally as any guard we had on our team. He's our 5-man and standing 6'8". He was able to get out and guard on the perimeter, and so that allowed us to be able to switch a lot of things. And I think it just kind of threw teams off. It kind of confused them a little bit, so we became more athletic 1 through 5. Also, bringing Tarion Joseph off the bench. Tarion's a volume shooter, volume scorer, but we were a little bit better defensively with him coming off the bench, not to take anything away from him, but he's a tremendous young man. He's a tremendous basketball player, and he was an all-conference performer for us. But we inserted Elijah Mitchell into the lineup, and he's just a little bit not as good offensively as Tarion, but a little bit better, a little bit more physical. He's a bigger guard than Tarion. So with him and his physical play and his hustle and being able to rebound the basketball, those two things really turned it around for us defensively. And we were a team that once our defense got going, our offense followed. A lot of teams are a little bit different. When they're scoring the basketball, they're motivated to play harder defensively. But we kind of reversed that. When we got going defensively, it helped us offensively.
Go ahead, Steve.
Coach, you come into the tournament as the eighth seed, and then you have to play the number one seed. And BC, and like I said again, this is no secret. Coach Steele, NBA player, great player in the league, kind of built that team, looks like they had invested into the team, NIL wise. Again, this is just known fact. So this is nothing that we're hiding or anything like that.
Right.
But when you came in there, what did you tell your guys? Or was it just some, hey, we're just going to keep playing, even though it's the number one seed? Or was there something that, because I've seen some coaches say, you know what, I feel some of the matchups that we have, because you talked about some of your guys coming back, right, that were scorers. Did you kind of say, you know what, we got our guys come back? I like some of the matchups that we have, with Horn and those guys.
Right. Well, if you look at the schedule, you go back when we played Bethune-Cookman the one time at Bethune-Cookman, it was a 2-possession basketball game. We were down within the last minute with a chance to win it. So we had all the confidence in the world that we could definitely play with them. But the confidence also that we had at that time was that we were going to be a tough out. So these guys just believed. They started the believe-in was there. They believed in what we were giving them. And then the buy-in was a lot easier. And they just had a refuse to lose type of an attitude. And they just didn't think anybody could beat us, to be honest with you. I mean, obviously you're always concerned. Bethune had a very expensive roster, as you said, is well documented. Coach Diaz did a great job, with the NIL and being able to provide resources for his team. But they just had a refuse to lose attitude. They were very confident. And I think everybody was surprised and shocked that Prairie View beat Bethune-Cookman, except Prairie View, the basketball team. They fully expected to win, and it was a big win for us. And once we got that one, we knew that winning the whole thing was definitely within reach to be able to do that for sure. It was definitely possible.
Coach, let me ask you this. How did you like the tournament format? I know you guys won, and that may affect, but I kind of like the tournament format, the way that it kind of set up. It really made the teams who didn't do as well in the regular season have the harder road, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, may have allowed y'all to get your feet up under you by having that first game. How did you like the tournament format?
I thought it was good. I thought everybody that was in the tournament was where they were supposed to be, right? Based off how we played in the regular season. And you're right. I mean, I think the only two games that I felt we weren't prepared to play was Alabama State and Alabama A&M. We got hit pretty hard against those two teams. But every other game that we played, we won some. We were 9-9, so we're 500 in conference. But the games that we lost, it was a 1 or 2 possession game. So I felt like the conference tournament where we were was where we were supposed to be. And obviously, when you're kind of playing behind the 8 ball, your urgency is up, right? It's lose and go home. And I think that helps teams as well. So we were locked in, we were focused, they were very confident, they believed in one another. And again, God's given us the increase. We were just able to get going, and it just turned out to be a great time in Atlanta, and something that we'll cherish forever, won't ever forget.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay. Coach, one of the things that I was most impressed with, and again, watching your offense execute at a very high level, and also you talk about defense. Let me back up. Coach, I've been around, like I said, I'm a SWAC baby. Family went to Jack State. All of us went to all HBCU stuff like that. So I go back, Coach, I'm 56 years old. So I know the dark days with Prairie View on both basketball and football. Where football wins the championship in the SWAC, and you win the championship. How is the energy around the campus when you guys created that? And I had to do some research, Coach. I think you guys were only one of 2 other teams, schools that have ever done that double-double. before winning the men's basketball and football championship. And knowing the proud history of Prairie View, but also knowing that there was some struggles, and even like you said, Coach, even with your career of trying to get it back, how did that feel when you guys accomplished that? Did you realize what had happened? Hey, man, we won football and we won the basketball when you guys got back to campus?
Yeah, a lot of people are talking about it as we speak right now on campus. And let me just say this, people are a lot nicer to you around Prairie View on campus now. Everybody speaks and a lot of smiles right now. So I think they're pretty pleased with the football and the basketball programs. But hey, we wanted to continue, I mean, we always obviously Tremaine Jackson, the football coach, did an outstanding job. Obviously, coming in, predicting a lot of the things that actually happen. I tend to stay away from predicting things. I just kind of let things kind of play out. But obviously, they set the tone, and volleyball. I think a lot of people it kind of leave them out. They won the conference as well. Dottie Hampton, our head women's volleyball coach, first year came in, did an outstanding job, and she's just a breath of fresh air for our department and just so positive and so supportive of everybody. Um, Obviously golf won a championship as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of champions going on right now in Prairie View in the building. But I always felt really good about our team. I kept telling our guys, we're going to be a good basketball team. I just don't know when. I think maybe, you alluded to the non-conference and playing well against LSU and Missouri, North Texas. And I think people got probably a little bit excited, maybe a little too soon. But we knew the potential was there, and I knew we were going to be a good basketball team, just didn't know when. But you want to be playing your best basketball in March. Obviously, that's the most important time. The entire season is important, but that's really important as you get closer to the postseason. So things just kind of fell into place for us, and hey, I'm still on cloud nine right now with the success that we had, and just so happy for the guys. Obviously, me being in the NCAA tournament before, it was just so gratifying for me just to see the expression on these young men's faces when we got to Dayton, and but they earned it. I mean, they put forth the effort, and it was it was a great turnout.
Hey, Coach, let me ask you this: if we could move forward to the game against Lehigh, because we had a HBCU watch party, and we were sitting here watching the game, and we were, we with every shot, with every foul, we were hanging in there, Coach, and we thought you guys in the first half played well, but you ended up behind going into halftime. What did you change at halftime to enable you guys to literally dominate at half, not only offensively, but defensively?
Yeah, it probably would be fitting for me to tell you exactly what I said to him at halftime in the locker room. Again, you touched on my
Wait a minute, Coach. That wasn't no church talk that you gave. That you didn't.
No, it wasn't devotion, that's for sure. In there, but no, it was just really a reminder. Like, hey guys, we're here. This is what we played hard for. We didn't play as well as we wanted to. Offense, I thought defensively we were solid, and they made some tough shots. Obviously, they were a very, very good basketball team. But I think the guys just kind of settled down a little bit, got back to the basics, and then we were able to pull away. But it was a masterful job that they did defensively. I've gotten so many compliments from coaches and just people that watch that game just say that we were just dominant defensively, and we were capable of being that. But those guys just had in their mind that they wanted to. They enjoyed being in March Madness. They wanted to get on to the second round of a first round, if you will, against Florida. So they just kind of picked it up, and the shots started falling in the second half, and I think that made a big difference.
Did you make any tactical adjustments? Because it seemed like even in the first half, you had a good plan defensively, and I think some of the guys, some of the basketball guys that were on the live with us had mentioned that you guys were really prepared defensively and you guys provided a good matchup. Was there something that you guys did different in that game that you hadn't done all season, or were you just were really familiar with what they were going to do through scouting and research?
Yeah, the scouting part's big. Obviously, I think we got I'd be remiss if I didn't mention one of the best assistant coaches in the country, Spencer Robinson, who did the scout. And he really kind of coaches our defense a lot, and it was just really pointing out like, hey guys, this is what we've been good at all year. So it wasn't really anything tactical in terms of making any adjustments. I thought those guys were focused, and they really turned it up. And obviously, we started to create some defense with our with offense, excuse me, with our steals and things like that. And it just kind of got us going. The ball started falling a little bit better in the second half, and those guys are just turned all the way up in terms of intensity. And they're like, hey, you know what? They just started realizing that we're a better basketball team tonight. I don't know about the other 6 days of the week if we play Lehigh, but on that particular night, we felt that we were the better basketball team, and we just kind of got it going and went up in double figures, and it was a flow. And then it was all about game management, right? Making sure that we get a good shot every time down. Don't get too excited or whatever and start just jacking up shots and trying to go one-on-one. Because that's the thing that gets teams in trouble when they stop sharing the basketball, stop running plays and things like that. When you get a lead, you gotta learn how to play with a lead. And I thought we were very mature in that we didn't rush things and we got a good shot every time down. Knock down free throws, which I think is very important. And I just thought it was a total team effort, great effort on both sides of the basketball.
They clearly had the size advantage.
Yes.
But through scouting and game planning, did you feel like you guys had that much of an athletic advantage?
We did, because we were always in help mode. And a lot of times with the size, they in the post, that's where you get hurt most times with size, right? It's in the post. But we were prepared to double down, swarm the post, help over the top, any type of high-low situations. We got quick guys that can get to the basketball. And our thing was, if we can't get our hands on the basketball, let's tip it out. Don't let them get their hands on it. If it goes out of bounds, it goes out of bounds. Even with the rebound, if we can't rebound the basketball, let's tip it out to a teammate. So those are the things that we did. I think that really, really paved the way for us. And we just made it tough on them, pressured the ball out. And when the ball went on the inside, we were like a bunch of hungry dogs on a piece of meat. We were all over that basketball, and it just kind of worked out for us.
It also looked like, Coach, I recall now that one of the gentlemen in the chat mentioned that it looked like you guys knew where he was going to, once y'all doubled in the inside, you knew where he was going to pass the ball, and y'all were playing that pass. Was that part of your strategy as well?
Yeah, and like I say, it goes through scouting. It's 1 through 13 that you scout every guy, even guys that don't play a lot. So we felt like our plan was good. We felt like we knew what they wanted to do, how they wanted to play. And it really worked out in our favor. But they were a well-coached team. I mean, obviously they, won their league and they were there for a reason. So they were no cupcake. They weren't an easy out, neither were we. But we just felt like we probably had a bit more athleticism. And their leading scorer, we really held him down, I think, to 4 or 6 points, maybe 8 points. And I think that really hurt him.
At one point, he was over.
Yeah, he was in the first half. I think he was. And obviously that affects a team in a great way, because if that's your go-to guy, and that's the guy you've been riding all year, and his teammates get used to playing a certain way, playing off of him, then if he's not contributing in the way that they're used to, then they're being asked maybe to play a role that they're not used to playing. They're not accustomed to, a guy getting 3 shots a game. Now he's got to take 9 shots, but he's not really prepared mentally to be able to do that. So it threw him off. So, how do you attack a snake? I always say this, you cut off the head, right? And that's what we did. So we cut off the head of the snake, which is their leading scorer and their best player. And then it just really, really worked out for us. I don't think that they were really prepared for him to have an off night like he did.
Coach, go ahead, right now. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, if you wanted to move, because I know Steve has a comment about the Florida game that he wants to.
Oh, well, we're definitely going to get to that. But yeah, we'll get to it. But Coach, I wanted to ask you a question again. Been around the SWAC, and me and Rock were trying to think, you might be the dean of coaches now for basketball. Have they passed the crown on to you that you are now the dean of coaches now?
Well, I have been. I mean, even with Coach Jones before he left, I still had the longest tenure.
Okay.
I had 10 years and he was at 8. So yeah, I'm the old man of the league, I guess. But hey, I always say this: you've been somewhere as long as I have at Prairie View. You're really good or you're really bad. Depends on how you look at it. But I am the dean of coaches for sure.
Well, I asked you that, Coach, because one of the great things that I take a lot of pride in, because again, as somebody, remember when the tournament, they had the buys and things like that, and some of the great Alcorn teams didn't make it, and then they moved to the 64 team format in '85, and of course we always got that 16 slot.
Right.
And at first, when the first 4 started, I kind of didn't like it because I thought it was targeting HBCUs, right? Until I understood what the money looked like, Coach.
Right.
Then I liked it because what I did like is that it allowed us to match up with conference based on our weight class and to have a fair fight to show that we have a great conference in basketball. Did you realize that, were you in just the back of your mind that, hey, man, the SWAC has been, for the past 5 years, I believe, have won this first 4 game? And well, that's something that you kind of took, say, hey, we're not going to be afraid of playing a Lehigh because we have gone into this first 4 game and as a conference and people that you have played against in the previous years and had success?
Well, obviously you pay attention to everything that surrounds the NCAA tournament and how teams out of our league have done, the past few years. But I'll be honest, even in the non-conference, we're playing against teams that Vegas or whomever may feel that we don't have a chance to beat. I'm always super confident, feeling like on any given night, anyone can be beat. But I always say that, the NCAA doesn't want Prairie View to beat LSU in November. They want us to beat LSU in March. That's what March Madness is all about. But I will tell you, and just as my opinion, mainstream media, I don't think that they give our league their just due. All right, I think we've got some phenomenal coaches in our league who do an outstanding job, and obviously with the transfer portal being the way it is, we're attracting some really high level players now who just want an opportunity to go somewhere and play. But I just think, the pundits and the mainstream media, they don't give the SWAC their just due, right? And I don't know if they're ever going to do that. But I think if they would invest more time in watching and scouting our games, I think that they would come to the realization that we're a quality basketball league with some quality players and coaches, and maybe we can bypass the playing game a little bit moving forward in the future. But that remains to be seen. But obviously, we're very cognizant that Alabama State won last year, and I think Grambling the year before won the play-in game. And I know Texas Southern won it a few years back. So why not Prairie View? That we're as good as any program, I think. And we went in with a lot of confidence, and obviously, we were able to continue the trend of the SWAC winning the play-in game.
Coach Smith, was it? Like I said, I've only been following the SWAC the last 5 years, and I want to get your opinion because you've seen it up close and personal. Through me watching the SWAC the last 5 years, it seems like this was by a large margin the more talented season of the past 5 seasons I've been watching. Was that your opinion, or am I just, or is just recency bias on my part?
No, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I think the last few years, I think it's really stepped up. Since 2021 when the transfer portal became a major player in college athletics. But I definitely think, this year and last year and the year before, the talent has really gone up a lot. And I think it's only going to continue to do that because when we do well, have a good showing in the NCAA tournament, obviously with the rev share, and obviously the pie is not as big, in our league as it is in some others as a Power Four. But I definitely think, you can attract kids that want to come in and have an opportunity to play, especially the ones that have been in the Power Four that maybe have gotten a certain amount of money. Because I ask kids all the time, what's important to you? A lot of money, a little playing time, or a little money, a lot of playing time? At the end of the day, if you're not playing basketball, and the money's not life changing, I don't think, at a lot of these mid levels, but you want an opportunity to play so you can get game film, so you can be able to play 10, 12 years when you're done with college, as opposed to getting a big payday and you don't have any game film, then where are you going to go, right? So that's what I think is important, and I think that a lot of our coaches in our league are using that model. But the league is really good right now, and again, I would just encourage the mainstream media to invest a little bit more time in watching our games. And I think that they'll come to the realization that we got a pretty good thing going on in the Southwestern Athletic Conference.
I think you're on to something, Coach, and I think the mainstream media covering it will do a couple things. Not only will it increase your standing amongst, the basketball community, Coach, but I also think it will have our fans more engaged in our games. Because I think there's some out of sight matchups that happen, week after week that, through SWAC TV, there's far too many empty seats in those stadiums. And if and if it was covered better, I think it would be more attractive for our people that follow the SWAC be willing to go and see those games live, because seeing the game live is a great experience, not only for the person that's going to watch the game, but it makes for a better experience for the student athlete, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I think, we have a lot to do with that too. Putting a good product out on the floor, I think can help that too. And we've been down for the past few years. Just think we just haven't been as talented as we needed to be. in 23-24 and 24-25 season. But obviously we picked that up this year. But I think if we can continue to recruit the quality student athletes, then we can get them to conform and come in and play together and put a better product, which we did this year, on the floor. I think the attendance will increase. I think obviously we have to, continue to work with our marketing people to be able to market the games and things like that. So the students, can, take a study break and come by from, 6 to 8 on Saturday night and maybe 6 to 8 on a Monday night and just come and support and watch games. We only have 9 home games in conference. There's not a lot to ask people to come out and watch. But I think if the product is good, and that's up to us as a staff and a program to make sure it's a good product, I think the fans will get back into it and start coming to watch.
Coach, so Rocky talked about it. And again, we know what, like I said, you go and you played in #1 seed in your region, Florida. But Coach, there was 2 things that happened in that game that made Prairie View go viral. So we're gonna play one of the first. Hold on, I'm about to make me leave. And I want to get your thought process of when you made this statement and how it went so viral. Let me pull this up. Let's see. Yeah. There we go. So, Coach, this was you doing the interview, and we're going to play it right now.
Okay.
On an 18-0 run here, what more do you need from your guys to slow this down and get into their game?
They would need some help from the Lord. They're very good. They're very good. We just got to keep defending, trying to switch our defenses, trying to throw them off, but they've been very efficient. So we just got to keep plugging away and try to get stops, try to keep off the glass. They're very, very good team.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach, did you realize that was going to go as viral and clipped up as much as it was? And because you said it, and I'm going to say this, you didn't say it as in fearful. You were just making an observation. Hey, these guys are pretty good, And so that's something that when you said it, and I have the quote, so like I said, I had a little joke back there when I said it, but that clip was so viral. You said CBS Sports literally clipped that, and you can find that clip all over, just the way you deadpan said it, in a joking manner.
Well, it definitely is enhanced the Byron Smith brand around the country. I was at the Final Four this past weekend, and I had 100 coaches come by and just, just share a laugh with me. But I wasn't, to be honest, I wasn't trying to be funny. I mean, literally, we had tried everything defensively, trying to run offense. We emptied the playbook on both sides, and the only thing I could think of was that, hey, you know what? This didn't work. This didn't work. This didn't work. Hey, man, we need the good Lord to kind of shine on us a little bit. But obviously, the way it was said at the time it was said, because everybody's looking for those good one-liners, I guess, in the NCAA tournament because the world is watching. So I guess it was something that caught on, and it went viral. I didn't really know much about. I've never done anything that went viral. But I definitely wasn't trying to be a comedian. I was dead serious, and we needed some help from somewhere because what we were doing as a staff just wasn't working. And I guess it just kind of took on a life of its own. And I guess some people thought it was a humorous thing.
Hey, Coach. Now I will say this, Coach.
Rocky, let me, were you about to follow up on that? Because
I was just gonna say, Coach. Y'all had a really good first 3 minutes, Coach. I gotta give.
Thank you.
Yeah,
3 minutes. Yeah, 37 more to go. But yeah,
and y'all had a good plan for those 3 minutes, Coach. And I think y'all either tied it up or got back within one. And I was like, "Woo!" And go. Coach, I don't know what happened after that, Coach. But I'll go ahead and let Mr. Campbell go ahead and share.
Coach,
as the game got out of hand, there were some very funny things that happened.
So, Coach, one of the most endearing things about this tournament is that these are still kids.
Right.
And one of the things that I wanted to play, which again, I know you've seen this, and I'll play this right now. Hold on one second. Because everybody died laughing when they saw this.
Right.
Pull it up one second. Because this bar now, I think, just endeared this young man. I want you to talk about the young man, your son Diallo, when he said this.
All right.
Here we go. There we go. Here we go right here.
Now he's standing there. You see him standing next to Hassan Diallo, who's 6'8".
And look at Diallo looking up at Ollie.
6'8". It's like Jose Altuve.
Coach, when Hassan looked up and said you a big boy, and I know you didn't probably see that when it was happening, but when you saw this clip, and like I said, just to run it back, because the level, and again, Hassan is a big kid, played outstanding basketball during the tournament. You know what I mean? Really held it down. But when you bring, and again, Florida brings his kid off the bench, and again, just once I just look at him looking at him.
Now you're standing there, you see him standing next to Hassan Diallo.
And he says to him, "You are a big boy." What when y'all saw that, you got back, did y'all say, "Man, why you say that?" Or what were you thinking?
Well, if you know Hassan Diallo, that's just his personality, and he's a unbelievable kid. But just to know him and his sense of humor, it didn't surprise me. But I think he was a bit shocked at the size, and I don't know if he got his focus back on the game. At that point in time, we were quite a few points behind. I don't know if it even mattered, but yeah, we shared a laugh with him, and he just like, man, coach, that guy was huge, man. But yeah, it definitely was a humorous moment, and something I'm sure he'll be able to show his kids one day when he becomes a father. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was cartoonish.
Yes.
And then to point out that guy is 6'7".
Yes.
And he's still a foot shorter.
Yes.
Than that other guy. It was over a foot shorter. It was that was unfair, coach. That was
absolutely. I agree.
Now, coach, I want to talk, but I point this out because it's going to get to my next point. As they say, all news is good news, coach, and all exposure is good. So we are in the portal season and things like that. I'm not asking you about players that you're talking to, but how has it made by because I think most important, win is always important, right? You won the SWAC championship, you won the first 4 games. Has that made it easier to talk to recruits and say, "Hey, coach, I saw you guys play. I kind of remember even a little bit of you could joke and say, hey, we need." Coach, I can even see you joking. Hey, you talking to a taller guy, a 6'10" guy. Hey, man, we need you next year. You know what I'm saying? To kind of size this thing up. Has that helped as far as recruiting and things like that?
Quite a bit. Quite a bit. Because obviously it's still new. I think we're 2 weeks out from that moment, going on 3, I think. But it definitely does, because it was just like it was yesterday to the players that we're talking to. Coach, I followed you guys, and I watched this and I watched that. Then obviously they're always going to point out my viral moment. So it's made it easier to be able to get into the homes, get into the ears, into the minds of these young people, even the parents. Oh, coach, I remember seeing you. Oh, man, that was great, man. We're rooting for you guys. Didn't know you, but definitely glad you're recruiting Johnnie or Jim or Tom, whatever the case may be. So to answer your question, it has made it a lot easier from a recruiting standpoint. I think, we were pretty strong. Obviously, we've got quality academics at Prairie. We've got a great, beautiful campus with tremendous facilities. I think it's about 35, 40 minutes outside of Houston. We check a lot of boxes in being an attractive destination. But obviously, with the run that we made and the funny moments with myself and Hassan, I think that definitely has helped us tremendously be able to, attract the interest of some quality student athletes that we feel like we're going to bring to our program for this upcoming season.
Coach, as you guys recruit transfers, and you got to realize that a lot of the guys that you brought in last year and probably going to bring in this year aren't necessarily for being familiar with HBCU campus. Coach, how is it important for a kid to get on Prairie View campus right now before school's out in their recruiting process to see what the culture and the perspective is of being on campus?
Well, before implementation of NIL, the rev share, our campus gave us a tremendous advantage over most schools in our conference because it's just so nice. The facilities, the location, it's just a beautiful campus. I mean, you'd have to see it to understand what I'm saying. And most times when kids would visit our campus, I mean, they pop out their phone and just take pictures because they just couldn't believe how nice the campus is. So that's important, obviously. And we still think it's a bit of an advantage. We just have to catch up again with the NIL rev share. If we can, step it up a bit, with our nice campus and facilities and location, I think we're back in the game for sure. And I think we'll stay there. We'll be a major player in the conference for years to come.
As you got in the transfer portal, I have a really close friend that's that coaches a community college here in Waco. You probably know it, McLennan Community College. Coach Kevin Gill is a good friend of mine, and he's been there 20 years, and he's always had trouble recruiting big guys that can actually move and play. Right? Is that just such a rare talent to get big guys that can move and play? Because I see that HBCUs have guards that are really talented, and man for man, a lot of the guards at the HBCUs can play with some of the guards at the Power 5 level.
Right.
It's just the big guys are just there's disparity in the big guys. Matter of fact, over about 6'8" at the HBCU level,
right,
you don't have just a plethora of guys
right.
to choose from. Do you find that to be difficult as well?
It is, because of the reputation of the SWAC. It's a guard league, so big guys feel like they're not going to get a seat at the table when it comes to offense. That I'm just going to be used to rebound and defend, and I'm not going to get an opportunity to be a part of the offense. So that's the reason why I think over the years you really hadn't seen a lot of big guys. And now, the two most coveted positions in basketball from a financial standpoint are usually the point guard and the big man. And you have to have resources to be able to attract quality either one of those positions. And, obviously, we don't have as big a split as the Power 4 schools. So these bigger players are kind of, they're chasing the money. And I'm not being negative about it, but it's just a reality. But, every now and again, we're able to, attract guys that have a bit of size. But, I live by the motto, you don't measure a man by his height, you measure a man by his heart. And so if you're playing with your heart and you're playing the right way, sometimes you can overcome the lack of size and things like that. But obviously you do have to have some guys that, that aren't vertically challenged, and they can, play around that rim and give you at least a rim presence defensively. But again, I think that's the biggest thing, that they feel that they're not going to get an opportunity because it's a guard league, it's a fast league. And sometimes the ball is already going up before those guys can cross half court.
And those big guys who are athletic, they have other options, I guess.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes. Mm-hmm.
For sure. Now, Coach, with this newfound fame that you guys have, and in the transfer portal, you got guys who want to go. What are some of the positions that you guys need to fill? That I know you got some guys coming back. But are you going to completely turn over your roster? Or are you looking for some key pieces? What is this? Are you looking for high schoolers? Kind of what's your philosophy is what I'm asking, is to field the team in 2026. What is going to be, without giving the secret sauce away, what is going to be your philosophy?
Well, we had about 10 grads, obviously. So we lost our team because they exhausted their eligibility. So we're looking for, I'm not going to say, I think we're bringing back maybe 3 guys, 3 good players, though, gives a solid foundation. But we're looking for the best available. But obviously, everyone's going old now. And they want older players that have the experience, that have game experience. And that kind of makes it harder for the high school kid. So we don't take a lot of high school kids. So we pretty much just go with grad transfers and junior college players. But we've got to get to work. Really, because we got a lot of spots to fill. But I think that's a good thing, because it's going to give someone an opportunity to come in and get a quality minutes at the very beginning. So that's what we're pushing. Playing time, nice facilities. Hopefully we will have NIL, some resources to be able to divvy up amongst the team. But yeah, we're going to reload. I like to use that model, reload, not rebuild. Because I think that's our mentality, that we've got a solid foundation. We've got a pretty good culture. We just got to get these guys, young men, to come in and to believe in the coaching staff, trust us, and then the buy-in is a whole lot easier. But I definitely think we like the feeling of where we were this year, and we don't want that to go away. So we definitely want to be a player year in and year out in the SWAC, for sure.
Has it made your job more difficult to have to reload every year, or how do you look at it?
I wouldn't say difficult. It's a bit challenging at times. I wouldn't necessarily say difficult, because every coach is going through it, even at the Power 4. Believe it or not, Michigan is going to have to recruit hard to be able to get, because again, with the resources being the way they are, some of these kids will take more money and less playing time. Some of these kids will take the money and won't even care what the plan is to help them develop and get better as a player, because they just, it's money numbers that they've never seen before, and it's hard to blame them. But every coach has got a tough task right now in recruiting, even the most successful ones, the Michigans, the UConns, the Dukes, UCLA, U of H. I mean, everybody. I mean, they have a tough time in recruiting. So we just got to get to work and make sure we're selling the right things, and hopefully development and being a part of a winning program are paramount with these young people. And if it is, then I think we got a chance to continue to attract some quality players for sure.
Let me also ask you this, Coach. What kind of advantage does it give you, Coach, being that you will be back next year and you will be coaching, and there are several programs out there that are still looking for a coach?
I hope that it'll give us an advantage, because right now we're telling kids that you got to come here, because we do have a coach. That program that was recruiting you or is recruiting you, that coach has decided to take his talents elsewhere. But I think stability is good. I think experience is good. I think having a plan in place and letting these kids know, hey, we've been here for a long time at Prairie View, and this will be a good destination for you, because stability is really, really, really important. So yeah, we're definitely using whatever we can to be able to gain a recruiting advantage and to be able to attract the right type of student athletes to come to our program.
One of the viewers, Kenya, brought up, made a comment called player development. It with roster turnover every year, is player development a thing of the past, or how is player development part of your program?
It's not a thing of the past. It's something that you have to continue to try to have in your program, because there are players who do want to develop and get better. It's just that you don't have as much time. Once upon a time, you're recruiting a kid, you're going to have him, I say a minimum of 2 years, right? And then if you're fortunate, 3, and if you're blessed, 4. And so you could spread the development piece out, working on this right now, the basic stuff, then we'll gradually move up. But now, since it's pretty much getting 1-year rentals because of the transfer portal, being fluid, you just got to speed things up. But I'm a big player development person. That's how I got into this business, because of my reputation to develop players and help them get better. That's always going to be paramount with Prairie View, or wherever I'm working at. It's going to be very, very important. But it's just, you have to speed it up a bit more now, because the clock is ticking when you get a kid on campus.
Coach, looking at your bio, you came right in behind you. I know you went to junior college, but you played at University of Houston, basically right after those 5 Slamma Jamma teams.
Right.
But teams that people knew, and they built together 3-4 year teams. And then you talked about Michigan, and I saw this graphic which blew my mind, that all 5 Michigan starters were all transfers, which is the first time ever. Not to say that'll probably be what it is going forward. How much is somebody who played in an era where you saw crews of players coming in together, building together, making runs and things like that, how much of that do you think is that going to hurt basketball? But people saying record ratings, and people can upload. But me, as like I say, going back to I'm a Carolina fan, and I remember those Houston teams, the Louisville teams, teams that you saw these guys grow up together. You know what I mean? Georgetown, watching those guys go from freshmen to seniors.
Right.
I think we lose a little bit of that, because like the kid Vandenberg or whatever from Michigan, I didn't even know. You talk about the Fab Five. I was in college when the Fab Five. Those guys like 2 years younger than me. I remember that those guys coming in as freshmen. Chris Webberlina, sophomore, and those guys matriculating through. How much do you think that really is going to hurt college basketball? I know we've had the one and dones, but now with this shuffling and things like that.
I think you have a lot of good teams. I don't think, because of this, having a short window to have kids, I don't think you're going to have a lot of great programs. Obviously, UConn has been able to keep the kid, Carabine, I think's his name. He's been there 4 years, retired his jersey, Hall of Fame player. That's rare to be able to get that, but that just shows the type of character that he has and the loyalty that he has, which is rare in intercollegiate athletics. But I just think you can have good teams, but I think because it's hard to keep continuity and and player retention is very, very, very hard. I just don't think you're going to have as many great programs, and I don't think you'll see many teams having a chance to be able to repeat. Obviously, UConn did it back to back, which shows that that was a special group, and Danny Hurley did a great job with them. But I can't say Michigan won't have a chance to repeat. But I just think it'll be difficult because it's going to be guys on that team that won the championship. Just like they're going to leave, just like what the guy said last year. Florida lost guys last year. They won the championship. I mean, what's more important than winning a championship, a national championship? Why would you leave that, right? And but the resources are paramount. I mean, that's at the forefront now, unfortunately. But I think you could be good, but I just think it's hard to be great because you're just having guys checking out all the time and key players checking out all the time.
Hey, Coach, I gotta ask you a question, Coach, because I just had a flashback, Coach. Were you Robert Pack's roommate in college?
No, Robert Pack was my roommate in college.
Okay, so
Right.
check this out, Coach. My name is Rocky Miller, and I was at TJC with you back in the day. I played football, of course, down the hall with Moon. You were on one end of the hall, and I was on the other end of the hall with Tyrone Montgomery.
Absolutely. Ty Montgomery, Mississippi's greatest. I love Ty. I remember Moon, but Moon was from Lufkin, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was his roommate. Absolutely.
I remember the name. Well, hey, a fellow Apache. Good to know that. Yeah.
I would. That's funny. So,
It is.
Funny. Yeah, we were at Marquise and Roosevelt and all those guys.
Absolutely.
AC was my homeboy.
Okay, I got you. Okay, and Darren Turner was there.
Oh yeah,
DT. Ivy Lee Brown was
Darren
NFL guy.
Darren Terry.
Yeah.
I
remember that.
we was all there together. Coach, small world, Coach.
Small world. Yes, indeed.
Would you say Robert Pack was your roommate?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, we were able to do some good things at times.
Absolutely.
Rob Pack was there for 2 years. I went there for the 1 year.
You transferred in, but for sure, man. This is a small world, Coach. Something about your voice and everything was familiar, and I looked, and when you said you went to Houston, I looked over and I said he went to TJC, I say that's the brother from Bossier City.
There you go.
That was in the room with Pat.
There you go. Yeah. Pack, hey, Pack's a lucky man. He had a chance to spend some time with me for a you so he's a lucky guy.
Coach, you the one to help him get you the league. That's what it was, Coach.
I'm the sole reason he got there. Me, God, and his mother. The reason why he got there. Absolutely.
He started with let us know he was from the West Bank, wasn't there?
There you go. New Orleans. There you go. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Coach, I want to ask you this question. Now, looking at, again, you coach with, Mark Turgeon, Texas A&M stuff. But, Coach, there's one part in your resume that we got to talk about. Okay. A lot of people may or may not know. Coach, you coached the Harlem Globetrotters.
I did.
The greatest show. Coach, first of all, how did you end up being the coach of the Harlem Globetrotters? And what was that experience?
I mean, great experience. I think all people grew up watching it on Saturday mornings as kids and, whenever they would come on. I mean, so it's a part of the American history and American fabric. So just people that I knew, we had some guys in the Houston area that, were a part of it, and I had good relationships. And obviously, they do a lot of the show stuff, but they also have a serious component as well of getting in shape and conditioning and working on their skills, because you still got to pass the basketball and make shots and stuff. So, they wanted to bring in a real coach that could work with them on their skills and stuff, and just kind of be there. Now with the trick stuff, I didn't coach that because that wasn't my deal,
right.
But just being there to work with them on their skills and a bit of their conditioning and stuff like that, because it's a grind. Them guys are, on the road, 50 nights a year, if not more, consecutive, back-to-back nights and stuff like that. So that's a physical grind and a toll on the body. So you got to be in shape to be able to keep up, even though you may not be, it may not be as strenuous as a 48-minute or a 40-minute basketball game, but you still gotta be in some type of shape, your muscles and things like that, and your skills and hand-eye coordination, all that stuff. So I had an opportunity to be out there for a year. It was a great experience, something that people talk to me about all the time. But at the same time, like you say, some people may not know. But I'm definitely blessed to have an opportunity to be a part of that prestigious organization for sure.
Coach, let me ask you this, and we're talking about so much upheaval. Several of your counterparts have basically taken jobs to be assistant coaches, moved up to, the Power 4 schools and stuff like that. You have coaches like Roy Williams, Mike Krzyzewski, and guys like that, Jim Boeheim. They left the game because of certain things. Is that kind of trickling down where, guys are saying, hey, and Coach, like I said, this is tough. Your job is, like you say, resource that you're working on, respect, things like that. Is this me? And again, we're not talking about any particular coach because everybody had their, but I was kind of shocked when I saw 3 really good coaches, you know what I mean, that are leaving our league. Is this something that maybe guys are like, hey, because of what's going on and, and the resources and things like that, I'm going to maybe, step back from being a head coach and kind of just be somebody that can help somebody work on their craft or something like, or is this just something, just an abnormality of this year?
No, I'll be very honest with you guys. And I alluded to this earlier with the mainstream media not really giving the Southwestern Athletic Conference, I think, the respect that we deserve. And so coaches want to have a chance to, coach at another level. I think we all have aspirations to do that. And I don't think it's just financially driven. I think it's just, the challenge of coaching at another level. But because of, I think, the lack of respect that mainstream media gives us, the only way we're able to move, the only way we have been able to move is by taking an assistant's job, going somewhere, helping someone win, and then having that person, unfortunately, but it's just a reality in which we live. Having Nate Oates, having Bill Self, having a Kelvin Sampson, having a Dusty May, having a Danny Hurley get on the phone and call that AD or call that search firm and say, hey, Byron Smith is your guy. I believe in this guy. He's ready to be a head coach at this level. You should really think long and hard about giving this guy an opportunity. And that's just a fact. I don't think it has anything to do with a trend or just something that's going on right now. These guys want to coach in the Conference USA. They want to coach in the Sun Belt, and they're capable. I think we've got some of the best coaches in the country, right? But because of the way things are and how things are structured, we just don't get the respect I think that we deserve. And I'm not complaining about it because to have a job anywhere in college basketball, I think is a blessing. I'm thankful, for where I am. And I know those guys were as well. But I just think those guys want to step out and have an opportunity to go to another level. And that's unfortunately or fortunately, depends on how you look at it, that's just the route that we have to go. I'll give you an example. There was a coach on the football side that was coaching in the SWAC 3 years ago. And he told me this because I have a relationship with him. He went for, it wasn't a Power 4 job, but it was a mid-major job in Conference USA. And he was the head coach at a SWAC school, and he did a great job. I mean, won some championships at this SWAC school. And I think he talked to the athletic director about the position. The school was in Florida, but the athletic director said he needed a little bit more, high major experience. And so the guy couldn't even get an interview for this particular job. So he decides to go the same route. So he takes a running backs coach job at a Power 4 for 1 year. And after that 1 year was up, he was able to get that same job that 3 years before he couldn't even get an interview. You understand what I'm saying? So I guess what I'm saying is it sounds better for them to say that, hey, you know what, we hired the assistant head coach at Florida State as opposed to we hired the head coach at, I don't know, North Carolina A&T. So I guess it sounds better. I guess it makes them, feel better about that. But I just think it's kind of disrespectful to where we are. I don't think it's just blatant disrespect for Byron Smith or Johnnie Jones or Mo Williams, but I just think it's our league. They just don't give us what I think we've earned and what we deserve.
Well, Coach, I'm going to say one thing before I know Rocky's got a question. First of all, I went to Florida A&M. As soon as you said that story, I knew exactly what you was talking about. So I'm going to say that right there.
Smart man.
Yeah, absolutely. and we understood that, and it does hurt. But I'm going to say that's the reason why, Coach, and shout out to Coach Cole while we had the HBCU Coaches Corner. Because, Coach, I will say this: we are not mainstream media, but we are media, and people do watch. And I'm talking about people at very high levels because I know a whole bunch of people, and they text me all the time about a great interview. And this is going to be another one of those great interviews. So now, Coach, I will tell you because I don't want you to go anywhere. Right. But if you do get a phone call after this, that's because of me. I'm just letting you know.
I got you. Hey, the check will be in the mail.
Okay, I just want to make sure you got me covered. That's all I wanted to make sure.
Hey, Coach Smith, I'm interested to get your opinion on this. If you could comment about it.
Okay.
It seemed like when I was a young man, and when guys were coming through college and wanting to coach, for a black coach, basketball was the opportunity to be a leader, a real leader, right? Football really wasn't that opportunity you weren't going to ascend to be a head coach at football. And a lot of that is still a challenge here today. But basketball used to be the path. We had guys like Nolan Richardson and
John Thompson.
John Thompson and
John Chaney.
and John Chaney. There were so many guys, and we're doing it at a very high level, Coach.
Bethune-Cookman, just shout out to John Taylor, had to put that out there. Bethune-Cookman.
But
College.
now it seems like those opportunities, for some reason, in basketball are dwindling for Black coaches.
Right.
What do you think is happening in the sport to where it used to be seemed like there was a lot of opportunities for black men to be advanced to the top position, whereas now it seems like they're going for younger white coaches rather than seasoned Black head coaches?
Right. I think balance. I don't ever play the race card, but I just think it's a fact that the NBA is predominantly in college basketballs, probably 75, maybe 80, even maybe a higher percentage of African Americans who occupy the playing positions. And I think that they just want balance. And so I think with the implementation of the analytics, I think that's kind of X players out. Like guys that played the game and it used to be something that was welcomed and looked for because, players understood players, right? And they could really help. A former player could help a current player probably as much as anyone because he knows the routine, the training, the thinking, the schedule, all that type of stuff. But I just think now with this implementation of, I'll give you an example like a Dusty May. Dusty May, I don't know if he's ever picked up a basketball as a player. I know he was a manager in Indiana for Bobby Knight, right? And so the managers are today's head coaches as well because of the analytical way that they go about doing things. And the game is heavily analytically dosed now, right? I mean, it's just kind of taken over. I think it's hurt the game, analytics more than it's helped because what it does is now it makes guys pass up opportunities that, that they may have an opportunity to have an easier path to score a basket, but because it's not coming from where the experts say that it needs to come from, I think it hurts the game. So I don't think it's a racial thing. I think it's just more about having balance that they want this game to be represented by all different types. Obviously with the European influx of guys coming over, now when you got the people over in the Middle East that are getting involved in American sports from a sponsorship standpoint, I think the NBA and college is so global now, in large part because of the resources that sponsorship, especially with the NBA. I think that, Adam Silver wants everybody to have a seat at the table from all walks of life, from all different countries. And I think the NCAA, probably not as much as the NBA, but I think that I think it helps our game for it to be a global game. But I think they just want it to be a little bit more balanced. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, I could be right, but that's just how I see it.
But yeah, it just seems like in basketball back when I was in my 30s, early 30s, there were 3 or 4 Black coaches in every major conference.
Right.
And even if they weren't successful, they wouldn't shy away from hiring another one or whatever. But it seems like now that's not the case, and the coaches at that level, at the at the highest level, just aren't given the opportunity. Because you look forward to guys like who were assistant coaches for a long time, guys like Rod Strickland and even guys like Melvin Hunt. You may be familiar with whatever. You thought those guys would eventually get head coaching jobs when they were younger guys, and it never materialized. So
it should have. It should have. Yeah, it should have. I mean, those guys, those are 2 great candidates. I played against Melvin in college. He was at Baylor, I was at Houston. So he's a Louisiana guy like I am. So I root for Melvin, and I thought he was doing a great job as an assistant coach in the NBA, and I thought he was ascending to becoming a head coach, but for whatever reason, it didn't happen. Now he's at Baylor in the college game now. Rod Strickland is at LIU Brooklyn. I mean, nothing wrong with that, but I mean, why not, be the head coach at NC State? Why not be the, head coach at TCU? I think he's overly qualified, a heck of a player, and obviously he's paid his dues as being an assistant coach, for a while there at Kentucky or Memphis, wherever he was with Cal. So those are 2 great names that I think probably have gotten overlooked. But it's still early. Those guys are young enough. They keep working at it. Maybe they'll get those
They're
opportunities.
our age, Coach. They're our age.
That's young, right? That's young, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
But Coach, listen, you just lit a fire under me, Coach. Because here's the thing. And again, I know that you, like I said, you matriculated through PWI school, so nothing like that. But I'm sitting up here listening to you, and I'm gonna use some of the buzz. You're articulate. You're clean cut. You believe in God. Some of the things that they say people have. But what do we, because when you said analytics, is this something that, I know you guys have the Black Coaches Association. Is this something that you guys, when you get in that room and say, okay, we see they're changing the rules again, because we've always been able to adapt. John Thompson talked about this when they changed it up on, on those guys, him and Nolan Richardson when they were coming through. He said, hey, we just want to have a chance to fail, and things like that. So, because Coach, one thing I always hear this, because we see, and Rocky and I talk about this on football, and we hear, because I'll tell you one thing, I know doggone well you would shoot dusting me out the gym, so I can already know that and stuff like that. Let's keep it a buck.
Steph Curry too.
Hey, Coach. Yeah, you had that confidence back then too, Coach.
But what do we do? Because as you said, now they're changing the game to always make it a pathway. But I know us as HBCU alums, as successful Black men, we know how to adapt. So is this something that the coach said, okay, this is an analytics game. Let's us start learning this type of style and what they're doing and things like that. Start to implement that, because on the football side, and again, I know we got some basketball guys here, but on the football side, we were the founders and historically created the offenses and the defenses. Again, you look at it, the gunslinger and my coach down there, Jake Gaither and Eddie Robinson, the white coaches came to them to learn it. So is this something that, as you guys, again, because I know you have a powerful group with the basketball coaches especially, it got together and say, hey, you know what? We're not going to let this trend. Oh, I hope you have lost him. I think the man might have cut him off, Rocky.
That's funny, man. What's interesting about this, and I hope Coach Smith comes back, is that you realize that somebody's name is familiar. Yeah. And then when you hear them talk, their voices are familiar, and you can't quite place it. And you realize the guy lived for a whole year. He lived down the hall from you in Tyler Junior College, man. And so it's really small world. That's really neat. He mentioned some guys' names that I hadn't thought about in years. And again, I'm surprised you guys knew right away who Robert Pack was, because literally Robert Pack was his roommate in college. I'm talking about before University of Houston for Coach Smith and before USC for Pack. They both lived down the hall from me.
Yeah, well, Pack's my guy. So like I told you, Pup is my guy, Kevin. And so I used to throw parties.
That's right. Yeah, they were in Dallas in the 90s.
What happened? Yeah, so down in Dallas, he was playing at the Mavericks, so we all would hang out. And then, of course, when Essence Fest would come, we would come up, and Pack would have a Pack Gives Back party on Saturday, and we would throw our party on Friday. So I always been down with Pack. Oh, yeah, all right, Coach, I got kind of nervous.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
No, you good, Coach. You good. No, I was just telling how small the world is, that we lived down the hall from each other for a year, and I recognized your voice, and it just took me to see that you had that TJC history to realize that's the light-skinned brother that was in the room with Pat. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because people that don't know, in Holly Hall, when you come down that hallway, everybody has to walk by you in Pac's room right there.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. You got a great memory.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Coach, I wanted you, because I think this is such an important conversation. And because remember, too, we've got young men that are looking up to you that want to be coaches and stuff like that. So kind of talk about what you talked about, the analytics, and what, again, the Black Coaches Association is doing to, confront that and prepare coaches to be able to get these jobs, because now they've added this as another stepping stone.
I think that it's important for you to always remain yourself. Like, don't change who you are, but you don't have to break, but you can bend a little bit. And I definitely think probably learning analytics a little bit, probably just, the basic stuff of analytics, that if it's ever something that is a requirement, that you prepared. It's better to have something not needed than needed not have it. But I don't think that you go away from who you are, because your greatest skill set is someone needs it, right? what you're really good at, some program needs it, and it's all about timing. And if you're patient, obviously you got to stay prayed up. And when God's ready to move you, He's going to move you. I mean, obviously promotion comes from above, but I definitely don't think anything is wrong with learning a new way of teaching the game. But I definitely think you have to stick to who you are as a person, and always go with your go-to and what got you in the building in coaching. But I definitely think, again, learning the analytics a little bit probably wouldn't hurt.
Coach, I like I say, and I appreciate you, being on, because I think a lot of what happens is we don't know these things as fans, right? Like Rocky
Right.
said, we see things,
Mm-hmm.
and we know something is going on. And again,
Mhm.
when I mean going on, what has changed? And I'm glad that you were able to express that, because I think what's important for us, and again, as fans and things like that, is that we support coaches like yourself. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'm always Prairie, I know I love them folks now. I've always
Mhm.
talked highly about them and things like that. Coach T-Jack is my guy. But one of the things, when I see schools, because I did a show literally, I would love to see one of our schools, because we had Nolan Smith on. I believe in the SWAC, we can have schools that could be a mid-major, a high mid-major level school that could go make runs.
Right.
Because like you say, of what we have, the proximity where we're at, and
Mhm.
again, but we got to be able to invest into that again. And that goes back, because Coach, you're doing your thing, but the alumni's got to say, Coach, and Coach Nolan Smith talked about it. Hey man, it's a bunch of cats in DC that'll come down and play with me, but I got $8,000.
Right.
And there's ballers in DC and DMV.
Yes. Yes.
So what can we do to get them to the FAMUs, the Prairie Views, the Southern Jack State? And Coach, you notice, to make a run, like I said, Coach, you play big time. You only need 2 guys to make a run. A
Right.
solid team and 2 guys that can go get a bucket. So
Yeah.
this is my thing. Let's go get those 2 guys that can go get a bucket. They're not no $100,000 guys. Those are
Right.
guys that are hungry, that are shot makers, because it's so many basketball players, as you well know, which look at what you did to get to the turn and beat other schools. And my thing is, so that's why I just really want us to understand there's such an opportunity because of the money. Look at what you brought in for Prairie View by winning that first 4 game and then going and playing into the tournament. Hey man, I know AD Golf is very happy with you,
I hope so. And I will tell you this, there definitely shouldn't be an issue, at least for the next few years, with us not being able to have the resources that we need. And you're right. You don't have to go out and spend $100,000 on a kid, but obviously be able to get a kid $1,000 to $2,000 a month. I think that is more than adequate to be able to, keep the young man, to be able to get the bare necessities. And again, my question when you were in recruiting, what's more important? Like a lot of money, a little playing time, or a little money and a lot of playing time? Because the playing time is what you're going to need more than anything. And you've gone, most of your life, not all of your life, without having a lot. You can sacrifice a little bit, but I think, being comfortable. And we had an unbelievable group this year. Again, we didn't pay one player this year, right? And I can't stress that enough. We didn't pay one player on our roster this year, and look what these young men were able to do. And I'm selling that to the future recruits. Not saying that you have to accept that, but just be realistic, right? Let me say this, guys. If someone had asked me that, to have my way or to be able to implement something, I would suggest this, to make NIL or rev share, to make it private. And what I mean by private, whatever you're giving John Smith, you don't make that public. Because what it does, it distorts and it messes with the next guy, right? At the next school. Well, hey, this guy's averaging 8 points a game and he's getting $20,000 a month. I'm averaging 16. I'm only getting 10, right? I'm getting robbed. I'm getting treated unfairly. They should keep it quiet. They should not disclose it. They should not make it public, because I think it upsets, and these kids lose their focus and they get distracted. And also at the end of the year, well, they're paying this over here. Hey, let me go over to this program where I can get a little bit more money. I'm gonna sacrifice playing time. I'm gonna sacrifice learning. I'm gonna sacrifice being developed. Because that coach that you're playing for right there, he may have the best program for you in terms of mental, emotional, and physical development. But you're gonna go because you think the grass is greener, no pun intended, green on the other in the other program. So I think they should keep this quiet. I know President Trump is, and with the urging of Coach Saban, who they have meeting obviously with President Trump, trying to change some of these rules and signing different orders to be able to limit the transfers and things like that. I think that's going to continue because a lot of these top coaches are tired, they're having to work too hard right now But once upon a time in football, Alabama got all the best players. Now that drove Nick Saban out of the business. He said it was the hardest year of his life. He was going to kill himself trying to keep up. Basically, what it did, it got him off of his couch. He had to get in the Buick and get up the highway in Alabama and then Louisiana and then Texas
raise some money.
and go out and recruit and do different things. So he didn't want to do that at 70 years old. And I think that now in basketball, it's the Tom Izzos that are saying, "Hey, man, we gotta get a grip on this thing." So I don't think it's gonna get a lot better. But for us and where we are, it's not as big a deal. We just have to have some resources, moderate resources, to be able to compensate these kids, to at least make them feel like, hey, you know what? I'm getting something. I may not be getting as much as I probably want, but this will hold me over until I can get to the next level, which is the pros. I mean, it's almost like the NBA and the G League in Europe. It's almost like it's an afterthought now with some of these kids. Like, hey, man, they think about now, like tomorrow's not going to come, right? But we try to preach to them and tell them that, hey, you know what? You want to push this thing out to where you can have a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year career, be able to make you some money and be able to get off to a great start and then go into your second career. But you already have, resources that put away in the bank account or money invested, whatever, to start your family and things like that. This is what we talk about at Prairie with kids that we recruit.
Coach, you just brought up something, and again, you've been around basketball, so you're going to understand because you said something. I wish we could make this maybe like an NDA, right? It's a contract. You don't disclose the contract, but Coach, the problem with that is because it's the agents that want to always disclose it. This is what happens.
Absolutely.
So that gets to my point, Coach. How hard is it now because of NIL and everybody now? Because we used to call them street agents. Right. And things like that. And in basketball, it was really bad. AAU, high school coaches, but now because it's legal. And you got guys that are telling kids, hey, you need to go on the port. I'm going to represent you. And I used to be an agent coach. So I go and look and I see a kid call my representation. And then I go see who this guy is. Guy doesn't have any law degree. He's never been licensed in any sport. But then he's calling you, Coach. Hey, I got my guy here, Coach. You need to go ahead and give him, $10,000, $15,000. And he's going to get 20%, which legally, if you're NBA, it's only 3%. And then, Coach, this too. And I saw a coach say this. You guys don't bid against each other. What you have is what you have. Right. So the guy is not getting anybody any more money. Right. He's just trying to find a slot. So how bad is it because now these NIL agents are now hindering the recruiting process and telling kids to jump in the portal? How are you dealing with that? And what is your thought on that?
It takes a lot of patience. Obviously, it does get frustrating. A lot of these NIL agents, if you will, are, frustrated former AAU coaches who didn't have success at the AAU level. That's how I see a lot of them, right? Because some of these guys that I talked to, I've seen them out in that back gym at that AAU tournament. Their team sucked. They weren't winning, and they got out of the AAU business. So now it becomes a hustle. It becomes a money grab, right? And really, I tell these guys all the time, like, I don't want to talk to 4 or 5 different people when this young man has got one offer from another school and Prairie View is the second offer. I shouldn't have to talk to 4 people unless it's mom, dad, grandmother, and grandfather, or an uncle, or maybe a high school coach, whatever the case may be. But I think they kind of muddy it up. I think that it makes a kid feel good. It's almost like when a kid has a trainer, right? Every kid has a trainer now, and it makes them feel good when they say my trainer. It's just me and him in the gym. Well, my agent, my NIL agent and stuff makes them feel good, right? Some of these guys, have no clue as to how to direct these kids. And I think it's something it's very critical. The parents need to take a deep look at this. This is someone that's influencing your child's decision, and probably one of the most important decisions of his or her life is where they choose to get an education. And that's serious, right? Now, if the kid was sick, right, or the kid got in some type of legal trouble, they're not going to let any Joe Blow look at their kid. They're not going to go out and hire some $2 lawyer. They're going to go try to get the best possible representation or the best possible doctor to be able to treat their kid if the kid's not well. Why not have that same approach, that same mindset to these as NIL agents and things like that? Because these people, they don't know anything about what's going on at Prairie View. So how can you tell a person that that's a good program for you? You've never been to a practice. You maybe watched a handful of our games, but watching games, that doesn't tell you what we're really all about. It may tell you how we'd like to play, but you don't know what the coach is all about. Right. And I had a young man maybe a week ago, and I won't say his name, but we're recruiting him. And he told us he was interested in our program, but his NIL agent sent, after we went and did a visit at his school, school's in Texas. After my coaches came back, the NIL agent sent us a text and said, appreciate you guys recruiting such and such, but he's going to attend this particular school up in the Midwest. And the school's in Wisconsin, and the kid is getting ready to commit there, and he's never taken an official visit to this campus. And I told the NIL agent, you know what, you should really, really be ashamed of yourself, because this is a selfish move. Well, I have a relationship with the coaching staff. You have a relationship with the coaching staff, but that doesn't determine if the kid's going to have success there or not. That's your relationship, right? But is the kid a good fit? A bird and a fish can fall in love, but where they're going to make a home, right? It's got to be a fit. So you're sending a kid up to a place that he's never visited. And in this place in Wisconsin, it gets pretty cold up there, guys. I'm pretty sure you know.
He don't even have a coat to
and
deal with what he's about to go into.
Exactly. And so I'm like, and I said, and this is what it's coming to. And I just told the guy, you should be ashamed of yourself. And I'll be honest with you, I told him, I said, you know what? I got your name. And if I ever hear your name come up in the state of Texas in terms of representing, if I know that family, I'm going to tell them to stay as far away from you as possible. I'm not a hater, but I'm just someone that I don't like foul stuff. And I think that's foul. That's selfish. And I hope the kid can make it, right? But his chances of making it up there probably not very good, because I just think he's going simply for the money, and the agent is sitting in there. And of course, the first thing he says, "Oh, I'm not getting anything out of it." I'm like, okay, right. You think I'm
Coach,
stupid?
I bet you that money is not it's not life-changing money either, is it, Coach?
It's not at all. Not at all.
You know the one. Okay, so me and Steve, we had this debate all the time. I'm a money guy, meaning that I want to. First off, I'm upset at the perverted system that you and I had to play under, because a lot of nights over in Tyler, Texas, we were hungry, and we were scrounging up money to walk down to the Taco Bell to try to get us a Mexican pizza or a taco.
Or trying to get enough gas to be able to drive up to Kilgore to get us a 40-ounce of beer. Because Tyler, if you remember, was a dry county, and we couldn't get any extracurricular fun in Tyler.
Coach, you know you was a church boy back then, Coach.
Hey, Coach, how many people? Wait, Coach, wait, Coach. When y'all made that beer run, how many people was in the car, Coach?
It was like we were going to rob a bank. It was full.
Hey, and everybody's money was going.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Coach, Big Sandy, I think they called it, Coach.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. You're correct. You're correct.
You bringing back memories, Coach.
Absolutely.
But that system we played under, Coach, was perverted in this way, is that there were people, not at TJC, but I'm talking about at the while you were at the University of Houston and other places, is that people were getting big money, Coach, by getting paid. And if you took a hamburger or a hot dog or extra slice of pizza, they threaten your eligibility, Coach. And you know those seminars and those meetings that people were sitting in, that they threaten your eligibility, and they go from that system to this system in the matter of minutes almost.
Right.
When you think about it, I just think it has this system. The parents, everybody has to get caught up to the modern system. And I think the people who are misled more than anybody is not really the kids, but I think the parents are misled because it's not the payday for a college student for most kids that parents want it to be. You understand? You still got to look at the fit as being the most important thing, and then the money being just an enhancement to their education. I'll just say that.
Absolutely.
But nowadays, people are looking at the money as being the reason somebody should do something. And I've kind of come over to Steve's side of the fence in this regard. Is the fit for the player and the family has to be way more important than anything else, because the money's he's gonna buy Jordans or chains or God knows what with the money. But the relationship with the coach and the family has to be rock solid for it all to work out.
100%. No, 100%. You're right. I mean, everything's material with these kids. It's trendy. PlayStation, 2K. Those are the things that they want to spend time doing, and obviously entertaining, friends, females, and things like that. Going out a little bit. having a nice car, whatever the case may be. So, but again, it's not life changing at our level. At the mid level, obviously at the power four, it can be some situations where AJ DeBonza, getting $7-8 million. Some of these other kids getting, crazy amounts of money. But even with that, if the financial literacy is not there and they don't know how to manage it, because again, if you take a family that's making $60,000 a year and then all of a sudden they get this $2.5 and $3 million check, if learning how to manage it, I mean, it's just a whole nother layer that you have to look at, right? And so that money is just not going to take care of itself. You got to know how to do it, what to do with it. You have tax implications. I mean, a lot of things that go with that. So the full financial literacy is that agent, is that person going to be able, is equipped to be able to help you, to be able to guide you and your family in terms of investing and things of that nature. So it's a whole, like I said, a whole other layer that I don't think these kids are prepared for to be able to handle. But again, I think, again, it's not going anywhere. I think they're going to try to modify it a little bit and try to slow it down a little bit. But I think it's right now, it's kind of like the Wild Wild West. These kids are transferring at alarming rates, and it's all because of the dollar.
Is that why you guys? Let me just ask you this, Coach, before we go.
Mhm.
Is that why the older kids seem to be easier to deal with than the kids coming into college? Because I find that even when I talk to football coaches, they rather deal with the kid that's already gotten a little money,
Right.
been a
Yes.
few places,
Yes. Yes.
rather
Yes.
than dealing with someone coming straight out of high school.
100%. I'll give you a great example. The kid Dante Horn, who he lit college basketball up this year. I mean, a heck of a basketball player, and he recruited us. We didn't really recruit him, but obviously he was at Texas State and he was at Georgia Southern, and I think he did get, a pretty good little payday. Wasn't anything life changing, but he told us he's not even worried about NIL. I mean, and that was music to our ears. We knew he was good, didn't know he was quite that good, but that's rare. Now we're out looking for a replica of Dante Horn, right? Someone that's going to come in and put up major numbers, but not looking for a crazy payday. No, not sure it's going to happen, but that's rare. But if you can get a young person like that, but again, Dante understood. He's mature, tremendous personality, got a great family. He wanted to be a professional basketball player for 8 to 10, 12 years. And he knew it was very important for him to find a program in his last year that's going to give him the opportunity to be on the floor for 30 plus minutes so he can go out and show the world his talents. He did that. It worked out for him. So it's a success story. Now he could have chased the money and played, 18 minutes a game, but gotten $200,000, but he would not have had the minutes and he wouldn't have been able to put the season together that he did this year. So I think he's going to be better. His career will be better for it with the decision that he made to sacrifice money to come to a place that's going to give him an opportunity to go out and play quality minutes. And it worked out for him and it worked out for Prairie as well.
Coach, you mentioned that. What I heard you say, Coach, is that you had a player that was talented that you were able to develop on the court as they were playing. How important is that option? Is that, in other words, is that a major selling point to a kid that being given the opportunity to develop on the court with the lights on?
It all depends on what he's getting out of the household. Obviously, the parents play such a big role. And if they obviously believe in the head coach and what the head coach is selling or preaching, I think you got a great chance. A lot of kids, it's very hard for kids today's game to get better in the season because they kind of already feel like they're already there, right? I mean, it's kind of like, that old saying, the man who has all the answers probably didn't hear the question. So a lot of kids don't improve because they think that they've already arrived along because of these NIL agents, their trainers and things like that. And I'm not really trying to be critical, throwing anyone under the bus. I'm just telling you the world in which we live. Dante Horn was a rare guy that he was pretty good when he got there, but I just think through development and hard work and pushing him every day and not letting him take days off and take plays off, he was able to take his game to another level. So he got better as the season went on. And obviously we needed it. And he turned it on at the end and he was lights out. I think you guys saw it. I thought he was one of the best transfers at any level in college basketball this year. And he definitely was a godsend for us, without a doubt.
Coach, I just want to do one thing. I know we got to get you out of here, but I just got to get on my soapbox. And this is my promotion for you. I used to say this all the time at FAMU. When I would hear a kid go to one of those directional schools, something, LeClaire, Eastern Stevens Point, something, something, something. And like you said, I'm very familiar with Wisconsin. I had a friend used to go up there all the time, and these directional schools. And what cracks me up is they're going to go up there. They're not going to like it. And you're talking about, and this is my sales job, Prairie View, we're talking about taxes. Prairie View got one of the best business schools in the nation. You can get one of the students, the accountant student, to do your taxes. And I'm talking about do it right. You're talking about a lawyer. Prairie View has lawyers, judges, things like that they can refer you to. I'm talking about things that if we have a guy on that level, that we will make sure, because I know this for a fact, Coach. I'm sure you know this. You do this for your players that become alums. Hey, call Mr. Such and Such. He can help you with that. Call such a or alumni say, hey, Coach, you got a guy that needs this. I can help you with that. And that's the thing that Byron, when I see these kids go to these directional schools that are quote unquote on our level, and they don't get the same result that they would get from a FAMU, Jack State, Prairie View, Southern, et cetera, North Carolina A&T. But they go to directional school, and you know what they come back? Because I talked to a lot of people. Hey, Mr. Campbell, man, I should have went to FAMU. Yeah.
Not only that, when he go play for coach at Wisconsin Green Bay, and he play for a year, and then he come back, and he need a letter of recommendation, a job, or somebody to get him in, who's more likely to do it and connect him with somebody that's going to help him? Is it Coach Smith or Coach Gottlieb? What you think? Who's more inclined to help him?
Yep, there you go.
Or I'm gonna give you one. Hold on, Rocky. I'm gonna give you one better for you. You said Doug Gottlieb. Because
I know the game. I know what's going
on. No. But I'm gonna use this point because I told Doug Gottlieb this personally. I said, let me tell you, you went to Oklahoma State, and I'm telling you right now that any of those black players can't go and look at another alumni and say, I want to be like that. That looks like them. I told him that personally. And I said, it is far and few between that you'll find somebody that'll write a letter for those guys compared to somebody who goes to FAMU. I told Doug Gottlieb that personally. Ain't nothing he could say because he was talking about when the kid came to Jackson State. You know what I mean? The cornerback that went to Colorado. What's the guy that won the Heisman, Rocky?
Travis Hunter.
And how dare he go there? And I'm like, man, you crazy. So my point of it is, Rocky, I just want to point that out because there's a lot. And I want these kids to hear what coach is saying is. You're going to get coached by a coach that cares. You're going to go to a university that cares. You're going to have alumni that cares. So I'm going to challenge all my HBCU alums and Prairie View folks. You know, I got to get at you again. You got a great coach. Let's get that NIL going for Coach Smith. Let's run that thing back for Coach Smith. Let's get this thing going. Now, Coach, you know I got Charlie Ward down there. So we doing the same thing out at FAMU because we got to see y'all in the finals next year. I'm telling you that right now. We got to see.
Hopefully we'll be there.
There you go.
Hey, Coach, I want to thank you for coming on the show, man. This has been a tremendous interview. I appreciate your candor.
Yes, sir.
And the walk down memory lane, Coach Smith. That was that's been awesome for me. I can't wait to go and tell my wife I met somebody I went to junior college with, and they not on the police blotter. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Hey, you doing fine for yourself there, Coach.
That's an inside joke that only he'll understand.
Right. There you go. Yes, sir.
But you had to go to junior college in the 80s to really understand what that joke is all about.
100%. Absolutely.
Hey, Coach, this is a quick question from one of the people. He says, if a kid wants to transfer, are you open to accepting them? So, Coach, so before we go, there are kids that watch this show. How do they get in contact? What is the best way of them for them to see your tape or, their tape and things like that? How do they get in contact with you, Coach?
They can go to Prairie website, and I'm on there. Go to the sports, obviously men's basketball, and my cell phone number, email address, everything's on there. So the Prairie website will definitely be able to help them out and get in contact with us. But we're open and looking for quality student athletes because we got a lot of spots to fill. And definitely open to any player from any walks of life.
Hey, Coach Gill got a few players down there. You may want to give him a call.
Definitely will. Since you told me, I definitely reach out to Coach. I know Coach fairly well, so I definitely give him a call.
They had a really good season.
Yes,
this year, and he had some really nice players, man. And so, but no, Coach, I want to thank you again. Is there anything you want to close out with before we let you go, man?
Man, I just appreciate you guys having this. It's a quality show, and I wish you guys all the best moving forward. And thank you guys for the coverage because you could have anybody on here, but I'm definitely honored to be a part of your show. But just to let everybody know that anything is possible with a belief in God. And, obviously it's not always what people call you, it's what you answer to. And then I live by that. But, just keep working. And for all the young people out there listening, if you're a basketball player, if you're soccer, track, tennis, football, doesn't matter. You put your faith in God along with hard work, and anything's possible.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time, man.
You guys take care. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Coach.
Okay.
Oh man, that's a great show right there, man.
See,
that was a
see,
great
y'all
show.
listen, man. I'm gonna keep telling you, Coach, man. You got to listen to your boy Campbell, man. I'm trying to. Hey, listen, man. It's other things out there. I know we got the football coach, man. We got to get the basketball coach. I'm trying to tell you, Rock. Them basketball coaches come in there, bring it, boy.
You're right, man. And like I say, I'm astonished that we've been talking about this guy for a month, and we spent the dorm. We lived in the same dorm for a whole year, man. That's crazy. That's crazy,
oh, man. You know what I'm excited about? Because again, when you have a coach like, and again, our basketball coaches are not as visible as our football coaches.
Absolutely.
You know, just because. But when you get a Coach Smith to come on here, and I mean, rock this thing, you know what I'm saying? From all levels, from coaching to NIL to what he did to get that team to a championship, man, that's a quality guy, man. That's my thing. What I love about HBCU Coaches Corner. I think you get to see coaches in another element. They're not in a press conference where it's just straight, you know, and again, they got to be a little bit political.
Freely.
You know, they speak freely. And some of the things that he talked about on the NIL and, you know, analytics, I think that was very honest. You know what I mean? And I think that's, once again, some of the challenges, because you know what I hate? And me and Scotty used to get in this all the time. And he grew to learn. He's like, man, Mr. Campbell, I just want to see people play football. I just want to see people play basketball. I'm like, bro, at the HBCU, we carry a whole bunch of stuff before we can get to the field or to the basketball court. The thing that we have to deal with, but people expect us to have the same standard at a school down the street where they don't have to worry about all these things because they're already financially ready to go and they're, you know, everything is good. But the thing to see that coach take Prairie and say, hey, Rocky, he didn't have anybody on NIL. You hear what he said?
Yeah. I don't think he should have said that though, but I'm a.
Well,
This is my point. Because just like when, okay, so this is my deal. You remember when Tremaine Jackson essentially said the same thing,
right?
This is the cheapest team you'll ever have at Prairie View. That's essentially what Coach Jackson was saying, is that there was no money invested in NIL. And my point in saying that is, I hope the administration doesn't get in the expectation of these guys having to try to do it without any NIL budget, because I think that's unreasonable to put them under that kind of pressure to try to win without an NIL budget. That's why I say I don't.
But I think that's more of, and this is why I looked at when I heard both coaches say this. And again, look at where they both were coming from. You know what I mean? Coach Smith, you know, kind of treading water, trying to get the program back. You know, Coach Jackson coming in their first year. But basically, it's like, we didn't have anything and we still made it happen. Now let's go and get it, and guess how much better we'll be. So that's the part that I say, I take it that way, is that these coaches now are saying, hey, you know what? I got this done without any NIL. So Prairie View 12 said, brass, go ahead and get your boys together, get all 12 y'all, and go and cut that check, man. Cut that check. And I'm not saying that y'all don't, because I know y'all do, but it's time that y'all cut some extra checks.
For sure. Hey, I just put the link in there. We're gonna go 2 hours even and we got about 8 minutes. We can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, or you can talk about the interview that we just had with Coach Smith. So with no further ado, let me put my man. Let me get. Hey,
you got 2 minutes max.
All right.
And I'm
hey,
Mr.
Campbell, say you're on borrowed time.
Hold on, wait a minute. I'm starting the clock. So hold on, right before you pull them up, and I'm gonna tell you when to start it.
Okay, got you.
Go 2 minutes. Get in and get out, because I ain't about to be arguing with you tonight. So get your all right, bring them up. Here you go. Just go.
He got to get out.
2 minutes. Question: what is the evaluation when it comes to meal prep for the athletes at HBCUs? Let's just use FAMU for example. What is their budget as far as training tables for their meal plans in comparison to a Kent State? What does that look like?
Okay, so you said, what is our training table compared to did you say Kent State?
He said Kent State.
Okay, Kent
State. Kent State.
Now, I can't answer that. I know we do have a training table, which before we did not. I know Jack State didn't have a training table. What they do. I know several schools in the SWAC have training tables. And I know they're working to increase them, but the biggest thing was the fact to just get to that lift of getting a training table. Because, Rocky, this is what we talked about. Kids were hungry. Kids didn't have anything to eat. So, fam, all I can tell you, because I don't know the numbers, I don't want to even comment on what Coach is doing, but I will tell you this, Coach raised $300,000, and that's one of the things that he wants to focus on. He comes out to the FAMU folks and say, hey, our training table is not adequate enough. I guarantee you the FAMU people step up.
You know, that's an interesting dynamic, because I know, Steve, you were in college when I was in college at the same time, and food was a big deal. Food was a scarcity, to be honest with you. You know, and spending money on food, because, you know, hey, Coach reminded me of what we used to spend money on sometimes other than food. But my point is saying that it's really not a lot of money when you talk about improving the quality of life at some of these universities. Some of these things that you can do when I say inexpensively, meaning that if you just had a training table, right, or add some type of catering service to, you know, when you had off-hour trainings or early breakfast or something like that, there are things that can be done that are quite innovative that don't cost a lot of money, especially around providing the quality of life.
But, Rocky, I think it was important. How many times have we heard this, that food, just the simple thing, what you said, just something to eat. And that's one of the things our HBCU struggle at. So my thing is, we have identified this as an issue. This should just be in the budget from here on out for athletics, a training table. You know how many athletes you're going to feed. You know what's going to take. Like you say, is it going to be a morning, evening training table, you know what I mean? And then lunch is just regular with the students or whatever. But whatever they need to do, it is important, because, Rocky, you talk about this. We had I think they had it down there. Used to be a place called Gumby's Pizza in Tallahassee. And if you ordered like 6 pizzas, they had these little free cards. You cut out the cardboard box. The 7 was for free. I would have so many football players. They would go, because people would throw the boxes out. The football players would go find the boxes, come. And I was one of the people that had a card my freshman year. I don't know how many football players I took to Gumby's Pizza just so them boys could eat. Just so them boys could have something to eat. I was like, man, where you find all them cards? Man, somebody threw it away. They didn't know to cut the box top out and stuff like that. So, man, so to your point, I think it's just so important that we focus on those things first. And then, to coach them point, then get them the money. But the baselines, like you've always talked about, athletic trainers, feeding the kids, that's got to be non-negotiable, bro.
Hey, keep it up. You got one more, and then we're going to go to our last guy.
And you got a minute on this.
Right.
Go ahead.
All right, last question. I'll make this quick. What will it take as far as the budget for these HBCUs? Let's just use South Carolina State and Jackson State for an example, because I believe they're good enough to do this. What would be the budget to get these two teams to play the lower tier FBS teams like a UMass or a Charlotte or a Buffalo? What would be the plan for these HBCUs to go and compete versus these teams to be able to beat them? What is the budget and what does that look like? And how can we get this done? Because I believe that South Carolina State and Jackson State can beat a Charlotte, can beat a Buffalo, or can beat a UMass. What would it take and what would the budget look like?
All right, well, let me answer that first. First of all, South Carolina State is already playing those people just because of the way the MEAC schedule say, and they have beat them. Prairie View is going to show us real quick because they're playing Tarleton. Who else they playing down there, Rocky?
Stephen F. Austin and Baylor.
So let's take Baylor out the way. But they're playing people in their weight class, Stephen F. Austin and Tarleton. So again, with a great coach like T-Jack and recruiting, and if they can get the other things going, then I believe those are going to be competitive games. So those are things that I truly believe. Now, FAMU, again, before all the schools in our area went D1, we played all those guys, Rocky, all the time. And we would beat them and everything. So that's the thing about it. So to your point, there are schools that have played them. But once again, man, we've got to have the foundation just to bring them. All right, we got Chuck and Said.
All right, we got to let's say it up.
Hey, got to let's say it in.
Hey,
productive
Chuck, you
people.
got 1 minute, Chuck. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it through. Just let me do this. But I was about to talk about you talking about getting something to eat. I thought about the Fab Five. You thought of them being at a major school like the University of Michigan, that they had the best of things. And even back during that time, Jalen Rose talked about said when they get tired after the game, he said they would go to the local Taco Bell and said the manager there. He said get a hookup because. He said, really, she wasn't supposed to have been doing it, but he said, but they had to give him a hookup. So they were so glad to see that food because he said they were not getting those. They had the meal limit that you all were just talking about. And you know what, Brother Campbell, I love watching the 220 Quarterback Club meetings on Wednesday mornings. And that's the thing that's always discussed there in a meeting is nutrition. And I'm going to land on that one.
Now, and so Chuck, you say, well, that's one of their missions. And they're doing $1 million campaign just for, and shout out to the 220 Club, like I said, old school rallies that's making it happen and things like that.
You got some feedback.
So that's one thing that people know that's really important and things like that. And so nutrition's always been one of their focuses. They've always done a great job. So shout out to the 220 Club and Mrs. Jackson and Eddie Jackson started. Man, listen, here go. Hey, say it.
What's up, everybody?
Man, listen, go and give us that radio voice.
Hey, Sid got that silky smooth going today, man.
Not at all.
Do me a favor, just for the people that don't know, please tell people the show that you have on Wednesday nights.
No, I appreciate the shameless plug. Yeah, no, check us out on PV versus Everybody. My show Wednesday, 7:00 Central Time, every Wednesday, Productive People. But we're here to talk about your show, the Coaches Show. We're here. I'm just here to talk. Thank you for having PV on. I wanted to talk a little bit of noise. You know, PV, I put in the comments, you know, PV, we always are the good content. Our coaches are always magnanimous. Our coaches are always well stated. And I think we present not only just the university well, but we also present athletics well. So I wanted to thank y'all for presenting us. What other content y'all gonna have out there if y'all don't have PV? What else is out there for y'all?
Well, I know you don't watch the show because I know you worried about getting your next brass monkey together. You know, you put me on there, but we do have other coaches like Nolan Smith. You do know that guy, right? You heard him, right? You do heard of Quinn Gray. We had that guy, right? You know, I'm just saying these are just some of those guys. You know,
and the incomparable Don Thornton. We had her
Don Thornton. You know, I'm just saying, just some of those people. I guess they're not good content as well as your coach. But say, you know, I do this just for my PV folks. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it.
Because, you know, y'all hurt me. You know, y'all hurt my feelings. You know, I was the first one on the bandwagon. Mr. Mickens, no. Lionel, no. And then here you come causing confusion.
Hey, listen, I said this year, 2026 PV, we're going to go on offense. We're not going to be on defense, going on everybody podcast, trying to defend what PV is and 12 fans and all these different, you know, titles that y'all have about us. We're going to go offense this season. And that's what y'all seeing. Unfortunately, you know, we've been a little bit brash and loud about it, but we're going to be on offense and we're going to be just as aggressive and successful as all of our athletic programs are.
You know, Sid, I think y'all should change our name from now that Scotty is no longer part of the HBCU media space anymore. And he the one coined y'all the name, the PV12. I think right now, y'all are the PV3 and y'all are growing. Meaning this, watch that. This is no slight. You know why I say the PV3? Championships in golf,
correct,
football, and basketball. And it could be the PV4.
Don't forget volleyball as well. Don't forget volleyball. Volleyball won championship.
Don't forget, because when you came to Tallahassee, you know who had to win.
Y'all on the way to the PV5. Could be the PV5. So you're to the point, Sid, where the PV brand is really about championships, wouldn't you say?
No, it's
wait, I'm not gonna wait a minute now. I'm not gonna let you slide that in there. I'm not. Wait a minute. Winning one is not a streak. Okay. Let's slow down there, Cowboy.
I didn't say a streak. I say the brand is about championship.
No, you said championships plural. So that means you have to win more than one.
No. I meant one in golf.
No, okay.
One in volleyball.
As in across different sports and athletics.
Yeah. But welcome to the club. FAMU and Jack State, Grambling Southern. We've all done that before. A&T, we've all been there before. No, but it does feel good to be on this side. I know.
Don't worry, Mr. Campbell. We're coming with a vengeance this year. Nobody is stopping us this year. So it's repeat or bust this year.
Okay.
So Sid, let me ask you a question. I'm gonna treat you like a guest here for a moment, Sid. Sid, what is the overall impact on the SWAC that PV has had? And I just want you to isolate 2025, 2026. what kind of impact has PV had on the SWAC?
Oh, raising the bar, excellence. I mean, as being the founding member of the SWAC, it's only our duty to set the bar and set the trend. So we're here to reclaim our throne, reclaim our title. As Maxine Waters said, we're going to reclaim our time. And I think that there is a measure of excellence. There's a measure of swag that people already knew PV had when it came to academics. I think our athletics is just now getting to the point of reclaiming what we were in our heyday and now getting back to that. And I think that that's what really the pressure you're seeing from the SWAC and answering your question that's happening. We have a certain level of meeting expectations when it comes to marketing, when it comes to athletics, when it comes to coaches being verbal, when it comes to graphics, when it comes to design. And I think, and when it comes to a certain way in which fans show up. And I think there's an antiquated way in which a lot of fans move, athletic departments move, programs move. And I think that that's what the frustration is, not necessarily winning, but it's a measure of excellence that I think that the SWAC is kind of feeling pressure from.
How do you explain or how do you confront, or do you even care about the disbelief that programs like Grambling, Southern, Alabama A&M, Alabama State have when they see you guys ascending in such heights in sports like football and basketball, the disbelief or the just outright denial of greatness? How do you respond to that?
We don't. We just move with excellence. I think that this is just like society and life. It's almost like Blockbuster and Netflix is coming on the scene. Either you figure out how to transform and actually adjust. Any smart business understands how to adjust to a changing market. And I think that's what a lot of the older programs aren't doing. They're not saying, hey, we're going digital now. Hey, we might need to have marketing now. Hey, we might need to be more vocal as coaches. The stoicism that coaches have maybe had in the past and not being as vocal. You're seeing a changing of the guard when it comes to that. And I think it's been an overall overhaul when it comes to how athletics is presented. And I think that that's the frustration for a lot of teams in SWAC. And I hope, because I want to see the health of the conference come along. So I hope that a lot of these programs take cues, but unfortunately, a lot of the old heads that exist in these foundation groups and, alumni groups and booster clubs still have a stranglehold on these athletic departments, and they will not adjust and they will not pivot and move forward.
And can you explain to many SWAC and HBCU fans why this 2025-26 season is not just a blip on the radar, and is something that Prairie View can sustain many years into the future?
The analytics are there, Rod. I do option trading on the side. If you look at the trending market and you look at the statistics, it is just there. Whether it be top 5 trending school, you see a successful coach that has had a pattern of winning championships. I think if you look at the actual team, coaching staff, program, organization, actually facilities, support from actually alignment from president to athletic director to actual coach, all of those are just kind of a storm that's actually, no pun to our band, by the way, the marching storm. But it's actually a storm brewing, and that all of those combination of things that's come together that's really changed the dynamics of what PV is doing and what is it's open for other schools to replicate. But again, a lot of people won't get out their own way to get to success.
Now, on your show, and I suggest people go back and listen to your show, I believe last week, you brought a very interesting point. You actually shattered what I think was maybe some optimism for a school in that Louisiana. I'll just put it like that. And you mentioned that they made a hire of a NFL Hall of Famer, and you kind of crushed the notion that was on par with the hire of Tremaine Jackson at PV. And you brought a stark contrast between the two in how that school should not expect
correct
the level of success that Tremaine Jackson experienced. And you also almost suggested that, hey, settle it down. Just let the man learn how to do his job first.
Correct.
before you put expectations. So can you kind of like, you don't have to flush it all the way out because I want people to go out and listen to your show.
It's all good.
But
no,
I thought it was very interesting how you line that up and made it, and also you really did what I think Marshall Faulk a service by saying, hey, back up, slow down, guys, let him learn how to do his job.
No, correct. I mean, Marshall Faulk, Coach Faulk, let me give him some respect. Coach Faulk doesn't have any experience within the SWAC or any head coaching experience. So trying to compare him coming in with the success of Coach Jackson is kind of like apples and oranges, especially when you see the success that Coach Jackson had before he came to the SWAC. Yeah, given he wasn't in the SWAC, but he had wild success in the D2 ranks and actually won national championships in the D2 ranks. So with his organization, you know, Coach Faulk is trying to figure out what his organization is. His coaching staff, you know, Coach Faulk is trying to figure out what his staff is. When it comes to a plan and how you're going to recruit players, you know, Coach Faulk is trying to figure out what he wants to do with the players. Even all the way down to them actually bringing on Alcorn's old coach to be an advisor is kind of like a symbol of showing, hey, I'm still trying to figure this thing out with Coach Fred McNair, right? So I think, look, you're talking about a team that won 2 games last season. You know, even with Coach Jackson coming in, we weren't a 2-win game conference team coming into when Coach Jackson was coming in. We were actually still rivaling conference games. Don't forget, we were just in the SWAC championship 2 years prior with Jackson State. And so this isn't apples and apples. We're talking about apples and oranges. And I think
you said apples and radiators on your show or something like that, didn't you?
Nah, listen, if Southern gets 6 wins, it'll be a successful season for Southern. If they get 6 wins. If they get 6 wins, look, I can't take credit for that. Even Blue Bloods even said the same thing. Like if they can get at least get six games, maybe even 500 for the season, they've done a really good job of turning that program around. And I don't even foresee them even doing that next season, to be honest with you.
Rocky, do you understand? You know, Sid said he's a little bit younger than me, closer in age, you know, Mr. Campbell, but
Correct.
He ain't as old as me. Rocky, I grew up in a day. This is slander in the SWAC streets. This is pure slander. From somebody from Prairie to wait, Rocky, to get on a show and to talk down to Southern, who has won, I think tied with, I don't know, you Southern guys, you know, that has won at least as many SWAC championships as Jack State and Grambling, or they're 1 up or 1 down, and you got Prairie View sitting up here in a nice apartment with the green plants, nice mic, with the cool voice telling you that y'all ain't gonna win less than 6 games.
No. Let's be clear. He said they should be happy.
Yeah, they should be. They should be happy with. They should be.
Where's my boy at? Because this is let me tell you something. Now, Rocky, shout out. Hey, listen, shout out Sipping on Sundays on Wednesday. We might have to address it. I'm about to clip this because listen, man, order got to be restored, man.
Now, Sid, what would you say to those? And I'm milking this for all I can since Sid's on here.
Oh yeah, please do.
What would you say to those Jackson State fans who you guys did? Because I have to say something about this. Because you know I'm a Dion guy, no doubt about it. You know I came in here as a Jackson State fan, and when PV won the West and was going to Jackson State to the vet to play that game, I thought just that moment alone, Cinderella, it was midnight. But Coach Cole on this show told me, not so fast.
Correct.
Prairie View's going to win that game.
Correct.
Now, I know why you believe Prairie View will win, because you're a Prairie View faithful. But my point is, what is the impact of doing something that hadn't anybody done since I've been when watching it? Go to the vet and win a championship game, which I think previously tried to do it twice. Southern tried to do it once, and you guys went ahead and did it. And you guys showed up to be witnesses to it.
Correct.
What was that all about, and what should Jackson State expect moving forward about
I think more of the same. It's going to be more of the same. I can't wait to get Jackson State on the schedule. You know, we have the benefit for, and I keep telling people this new regime of students, this new regime of athletics, what was done in the past is not in anybody's memory. So I think for a lot of us old heads, just like Mr. Campbell was just saying, oh man, I remember this is blasphemy. These kids today don't care nothing about what the actual, the streak was. All they know is they coming into, and let's be clear, PV has been dominating since essentially 2008, 2009. This isn't like
dominating.
Yes. And since 2008, since 2009, Prairie View hasn't been less than second in the West Division, with the exception of the last year that Bubba was there, which, he ultimately got fired. But prior to that, PV has been, right there, SWAC championship, second in the SWAC, tying with Grambling, tying. Look, listen, a lot of people don't remember the stats. Prairie View has 12 national championships. We have 6 SWAC championships. Like, these are things. This is only third behind Grambling and Southern. Grambling has 25, Southern has 18, JSU has 18, Prairie View has 12 national titles. So I think, we just have to do a better job of like educating on who and what Prairie View is, our legacy that our old faithful know. Outside of the streak, prior to the streak and post the streak, Prairie View has been really dominating. And I think these kids today, they are believing in the program. They are believing in the institution. They are believing in excellence. And I don't see really a lot of schools catching up to us. I think a close second with Alabama State and a close second with Jackson State. I think we'll be tussling it out every year. But when the way that our school is moving at a rapid pace and the way our athletics are moving at a rapid pace, it's hard to really even catch up to us. I'm gonna be honest with you. Once you step foot on that campus, and Coach was just talking about this, once you take a step on that campus and you see that beautiful campus and you're in those classrooms and you see those beautiful girls on campus, and we got all that locked down. When those recruits come on campus, we not talking about chicken fried steak dinners and none of that. And so I think that it's going to be a tough road to hoe, and I look forward to this JSU and PV rivalry.
I'll tell you how impactful that campus is, right? My daughter we had planned in the fall of 2019, we were going to take a college tour, go see Prairie View, North Texas, some out-of-state schools, just go around and just visit some colleges. But my daughter decided that we'd start at Prairie View and then work our way back up north. Our first visit to Prairie View, we walked on campus. She took the tour. You guys have a nice tour. She met her cousin, which is my nephew, on campus. He accompanied us through part of it, walked through the dorms and everything, went through the business center, all that kind of stuff, where they got the ticker going on like it's in the middle of Wall Street. You know what I'm talking about. Walk through all that stuff, walk through the Student Life Center, all that kind of stuff. Then we get back to the lady asked us, how'd you like it? We said, fine, whatever. We're walking back to our car to get ready to drive back to Waco. And I said, baby, how'd you like it? She said, Daddy, I love it. And we don't have to go see another school. This is where I'm going to spend my next 4 years.
That's amazing.
This is where when I graduate, this is where I'm going to school. I'm saying, you sure about that, baby? Let's go see some other stuff. You might like it other places. She said, no, Daddy. This feels like home right here. I'm going to Prairie View A&M. That's where she was graduating in 21. So this was 2 years before she was actually going to graduate. But she was so impressed with the atmosphere, the people, the school, the amenities, the accommodations. She was willing to bet on Prairie View. And I'm proud to say that this May she'll be graduating with a computer engineering
We got to get it locked in, Rock. We got to get it locked in with PV12. We got to get it locked in with Section 107. Shout out to Section 107, PV12. We got to get it locked in with the Houston. If she be in Houston alumni chapter with our booster club, we got to get it locked in. But listen, I want to thank y'all for having me on. Check me out tomorrow. I got Coach Lane with the softball team coming on tomorrow. That's going to be a good one. Our softball team has been rocking. Last year
Wait a minute. Yeah, because I know we ain't talking baseball because what just happened when we came down to Texas and had to set order. And softball, y'all don't want none of that smoke. So I would definitely be
Softball? Are
watching
you
that.
kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Do you know who runs softball in the SWAC? That's FAMU and Jackson State.
No, Prairie View. You have not. You have not been keeping.
Bro, y'all ain't listen until you win it.
What are you talking about?
Wait, Rocky. Hold on, Rocky. Before we let this young guy go, let me just show him something real quick, because he's talking about what they're doing right now. I'm talking about playing in the finals, winning the thing. That's why the baseball had to come down there. I want to show said something.
You sound like a lot like Jackson State did about 4 months ago, Mr. Campbell.
I'm going listen. I'm from Jackson, and we definitely gonna sound like it because see all this Prairie View talk. This is just blasphemy, man. They talk about they setting standards now and how good the campers look and how good the girl look. Man, I'm with the FAMU. I'm from Jackson. Jay Sets. Come on, ain't nothing against those black. What is it? The Black Foxes? What y'all got?
Black Foxes. That's right.
Yeah, I ain't gonna. but just to show you something real quick, let me just share my screen. People laugh about me sharing my screen, but just before you get up out of here, want you to remember a few things real quick. Hold on, let me share this real quick. This is the softball standards real quick. You see that in the East?
That's too small, Mr. Campbell.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. You see this in the East? You see that name?
Oh man.
You see who that is?
Look what you see in the West.
No, wait a minute. You see who right behind them? And there go y'all in the so don't act like you running softball.
Look at the conference.
Look, I told you, the boogeyman's are in it. Right, what you call us? The boogeyman?
Well, I'll say this. I don't know if they'll have the overall number 1 seed, but in the West, this conference is wrapped up. Like there's really nothing to talk about in the West, because they're 4 games, ahead of everybody else, and so I think FAMU still in the dogfight. No, but that's pretty impressive by Florida A&M. But it looks like football standards, if you ask me. But I ain't want to talk though.
This ain't no different. This is no different than that. And listen, everybody and we're gonna talk about this on the show tomorrow. Everybody keeps talking about the amount of competition that we played. Don't forget, we beat U of H. We've played Oklahoma, who's the returning national championship team, right? We've played some tough competitors. That's not no cupcake schedule that you see over there, record that you see over there. We play some very tough opponents, and it's going to be just like football. Those Division II teams that you see Jackson State playing and NIA teams, Prairie View is going to be playing some tough opponents this year.
Hey, Said, I got to ask you this, Said, because this is Prairie View is on the uptick on everything. They're kicking butt, but they got a streak going in women's basketball, and that streak gonna be broke.
They don't want to talk about that.
No, we got late. We had a late hire with that coach, and we had a little bit of stumble with her hiring and getting her on board. We'll be okay for next season. We'll be fine for next season. So we kind of started off. We put her in a bad position. We're recruiting in a bad position. We're getting off on the season. We still got good faith. We got faith in her, and we're gonna be all right in women's basketball. We just kind of got started at a late start with her. That's what our problem was. We ain't even have no height. Y'all were talking about height on the show with men's basketball. Oh my God. I think I can't remember the average height on that women's basketball team.
Y'all look like y'all was some 12-year-olds.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
But what I'm saying is that has to be addressed on some level, and I hope it gets addressed real soon. Because with that being what was it, 0-19?
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, it was bad. So
sound like the old days to me, Rocky.
No, we had Cynthia Cooper come in there. Listen, I ain't gonna give away the sauce. We listen. It's going down. It's going down. I'm talking too much already. But we got that's our old coach. We came back. We getting things in order. Don't you worry. We coming back with a force, and our coaching staff and everybody's come together. Hey, it's gonna be a sad day, Mr. Campbell. Y'all got to get ready. It's a new sheriff in town, and unfortunately, people got to get used to that purple and gold. Atlanta.
One is not a streak. I was like, hey, listen, we will celebrate this time in history that y'all will forever remember. Said when you get old, and when Lionel daughter, she'll be class of 2040 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are talking about, man, y'all remember back in 2026, baby, we was winning everything. And guess what? In 2046, it'll still be FAMU. How about
hey,
that?
let me ask you this, Sid. Where can they find you tomorrow? What time and where can they find you?
Oh, you can find us on youtube.com/PV versus everybody. Just log on, subscribe, get the alert, get the notification. Matter of fact, the show is already on hold already for tomorrow. So if you just do a quick search on YouTube for PV versus everybody, you'll see the show, Productive People, starting at 7 o'clock tomorrow. We got Coach Lane from the softball team, and I'll let him know some of the talking points we had on this show.
And last thing, are you guys fully expecting to add the President's Trophy to y'all collection this year?
The Commissioner's Cup?
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Commissioner's Cup, yep.
Are you expecting to add that to your collection?
Tough. It's tough. As I last look, I think we're in second, to be honest with you. I don't know. It's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a tough one. I don't know.
Who's in first place?
I'm not sure, but I know we're not in first place.
Zoe, when me and Zoe, so Zoe, of course, had to be Zoe. And we looked up at the time, Jackson State was leading the Commissioner's Cup.
Okay.
But after softball, though, don't sleep. Don't sleep. Softball might be what break everybody.
Y'all still have outdoor track and field to go as well. So.
FAMU do. Shout out to FAMU too. They got a good track program. Look, welcome to the SWAC, FAMU. But I still haven't seen FAMU recover from that loss that they took to PV.
I tell you one thing we recovered from. We actually won the Celebration Bowl.
Oh,
that's the difference. See, champions understand when you get the championship games. That's the reason why we have like 17 national championships, 30 conference championships. That's the difference. Man. So when you get listen, when you join, listen, I'm gonna say this real quick. You got into the club. Congratulations, getting into the club. Southern ain't even gotten into the club. They ain't got to celebrate ball. But there's a difference when you get in the VIP like Jackson State, Grambling, and FAMU. Difference.
Yeah, hey, Coach Jackson.
The girls look better.
Coach Jackson got that red jacket. Matter of fact, he had that red jacket ordered at halftime.
No, Rocky. He was telling them, let me get that table up there next to FAMU and Jackson State, and I got bottles coming. His credit card was declined.
Man, I was on the field too. Man, that little club level, I was on the field.
Yeah, he was already ready.
Oh my God, I went live on all the little platforms. I just was, man, it's all good.
Hey, but
went gray again.
Said I still agree. This last thing. Hey, that still wasn't a touchdown. Said
it wasn't no touchdown. It wasn't, but it shouldn't have been to that point of not being a touchdown. So it is what it is. We learn from it, and we're gonna make everybody pay this year too, dearly.
I didn't say appreciate it.
All right, appreciate y'all. It was fun.
You give me the brass monkey all the time. That's okay.
Hey,
I love that young
Campbell,
brother, man.
You can take us out of here, brother.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, man. Once again, want to thank Coach Cole once again. HBCU Coaches Corner, Coach Byron Smith. Man, shout out to everybody watching, man. We really appreciate y'all, man. This is what we do on Coaches Corner every week. Bring you people that you want to see, people that you want to talk about, man. And guess what? Tomorrow, it don't stop. Me and Zoe Phillips sipping on Sundays. We got to talk about everything that happened on the weekend because, we got to talk about that. And it's a couple of things. Coaches leaving. Dawn State about to whoop Geno's REM's ass. And, we'll see what's going on. Coach Mo going to Kentucky. But, man, listen, we appreciate you, man. And listen, whatever Coach say, hold that rope, tie a chain, whatever, man. Just hang out with your folks and support them, man. We love you. We out.